Oh my god. Oh my god. My computer works. I got a one way to get the space. Let's get out of here. It's this time of year. My god, guys, it works. It works. There's no lag. There's no lag. Oh my god. It was the version update. It was the fact that last week I updated the streaming software, and that's what was causing the issues. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my god. The fact that it took me a week to figure that out, because I didn't think that at all last week when the problem was just happening, but because it worked. But god, look how much smoother it is. Look at how much smoother this is. I can click on this, and oh my god, look at that. It's well, I mean, it takes a second to load, but look at this. I can open a new tab. Oh my god. Oh wait, it's starting to lag when I do that. Oh no 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 no. Okay, now it's not lagging. Okay, so as long as I don't open any new tabs, I should be fine. I should be fine. Oh my god, guys, it works. It works. Yes. Thank God. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, I am streaming on, or it is on my second monitor right now, so, which is why I'm able to show the full monitor, or I'm able to show the full screen of my desktop while also still having the webcam here. So I had to creatively position the webcam here, but yeah, it's a little shorter than normal, but I mean, you guys should be fine with that. This is pretty much the best that you guys are gonna get for my webcam. So I really need a haircut. Oh my god, look at how long my hair is. Jeez, it's almost down to my shoulder again. Now it is. That's so much. I have as much hair as like a girl with like a one of the bob cuts, or like a girl who has short hair. That's how much hair I have. So it's terrible. I'm not some junky high schooler. I always had the hair of like a junkie, like a druggie, you know. But I never did drugs. I didn't even touch alcohol, especially back then. But but yeah, I always had the long hair. I wore hoodies, right? Like typical, like, oh, I looked like I skateboarded, but I looked like I skateboarded, but I was never carrying around a skateboard. I looked depressed like an emo kid, but I didn't want to wear that fashion. And I had the long hair like a druggie, like somebody who did like marijuana and stuff, but I never even touched that stuff. So I had the look of a depressed skater druggie, but I did none of those things. I mean, or of like an emo skater druggie, I guess, but I wasn't. I wasn't emo. I was just depressed, and I wasn't a druggie because I was high on life. And then I didn't skate when I was in high school, so I don't technically what I'm doing right now isn't skating either because I just use an electric skateboard in order to travel, and that's it, right? Skaters or people who skateboard, they get the regular skateboards, right, with the really small wheels and no electronics on them, and they go to like the skate park and stuff. I don't do that. I don't do like tricks and whatnot. In fact, some skater people have come up to me when I'm on my electric skateboard. And they've asked about it, and they're like, "Oh, can you do any tricks on that?" And I'm sitting there, I'm standing there thinking like, yeah, I guess you see somebody with a skateboard, and your first thought is like skateboard tricks, right? They're a skater. So, of course, that's not the case. I'm not a skater. Anyway, can I see all photos with this? It will lag for a minute here, guys, while this loads up. They don't. I don't want this white space. Okay, now it's not laggy, or now it shouldn't be laggy. Okay. But yeah, anyway, so disregarding my teenage life. Anyway, this is Serendipity 3. This is the place that has the expensive stuff, but they also have other things. So this looks like one of their Belgian waffles. That looks good. So I wish I could like. Can I like full screen this? Well, it doesn't really do much. I want like the picture to be in the frame. I don't want the side stuff. I mean, I could technically expand it for you guys. They just, wow, gee, what a great meal. This is just a plain hot dog and some plain salted French fries. Probably this probably costs like $15. Pathetic. You don't go to a restaurant that's this high end and order the plain hot dog. I know it's not plain because they have the condiments on the side, but still, come on. Like, I can get this at the grocery store. I can get this at Costco. That's what it is. I can get a hot dog this long with more condiments than this at Costco for $1. It's the hot dog and a drink for $1.50. This Serendipity place probably charges 10 times the price for that because you're eating it on a nice table and you have French fries with it. That looks very good though. That looks pretty good. Mind you, that all of this stuff is going to be insanely overpriced, but whatever. This isn't their $1,000 sundae, but this actually looks pretty good. So this would be a nice place to actually go to, like normally. It seems like their food is very well presented. This all looks like kids' meal stuff. Oh, guys, this isn't an outdoor area. It looks like an outdoor area. Restaurant and general store. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to see what like the eating area was, but I was also hoping that they would show their Guinness Book of World Records stuff on here. So doesn't seem like that's the Guinness. Nope. Grilled cheese. Okay. They're not showing this to me. Yeah, down here it's their okay, this might lag up the computer a bit. What the Okay. And down here is their Guinness World Records. Oh, it has two N's. Okay. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to find it on. Nah, I'll just have to Google it. But yeah, anyway, The $1,000 sundae, $300 burger. This one says $214 grilled cheese sandwich. I don't know. I don't know. This picture came out like last year, but in Mr. Beast's video, which was a 2018 video, he priced it as more expensive. So I guess that included the tip, like tax and tips. And they have their hot dog for $69. $69. It's I wouldn't expect a high-end restaurant to pull a 69 joke. Foot-long hot dog. You guys think of a hot dog, right? It's like eat a hot dog like that, and then it's priced at $69. I think they knew what they were doing. But yeah, their milkshake's $100. The world's most expensive fries is $200. So I did look up each of these items individually on Google. But let's see here. The Serendipity 3 grilled cheese, but without. Okay. No. Serendipity. Here we go. They must have pictures of it. There are probably people who come here to order this. Okay. So the stream will be laggy when I open like new windows and stuff. But an eye-watering $214. To be honest, $200, like, God, if I worked a job right now, that would be like 2 days income, I believe. So I would have to work for 2 days, and then after taxes, like 2 full days, but after taxes, I think I would be left with this much money. So maybe 3 days just to be safe. But like to try an expensive item, it's like, yeah, like I'm not gonna go here and get it every day, right? I'm not even gonna go here and get it like every year probably, but you know, to have it once or to have it like once in a long while, it's fine. The sandwich needs to be ordered 48 hours in advance because all the ingredients are flown in especially for your order. If they're flying, that's the Suns. If they're flying in special ingredients just to make the sandwich, $200 is a really cheap price point considering that, you know, they have to order some of these ingredients from like France or from like Germany or whatever, or from like Japan, and they have to fly it in and like specifically have it custom shipped to the store in New York. Considering that, I think that they're probably losing money on making this sandwich, to be honest, because they got to pay for the ingredients themselves and they got to pay for all that travel time, right? I would expect, you know, in line with that, like logistically, I would expect this to be more of like a seasonal item in that regard. So basically, this is French Pullman champagne bread, which is they take the special French bread, and they soak it in Dom Perignon champagne. So they soak the bread in champagne. I don't think they soak it like like you would, like soaking like French toast, but I think it's something similar. White truffle butter, and the very rare Caciocavallo Podolico cheese. Caciocavallo. I don't know what Caciocavallo Podolico cheese is. The sandwich is then served on a Barakat crystal plate with South African lobster tomato bisque as a dipping sauce. So yeah, you get the grilled cheese, which is champagne-soaked French bread Gold Flakes, white truffle butter, and this really good cheese, apparently. Like this really rare cheese as the grilled cheese, and then they put it in a panini press to press it down. And then they give you South African lobster tomato bisque. So basically it's just this champagne glass of a tomato soup made with lobster from South Africa, which honestly, I like tomato bisque. I really like tomato bisque. I don't like cheap tomato bisque because it's basically just like tomato juice. But like a really well done tomato bisque has like this very rich, creamy flavor to it with like a hint of tomato, right? Because you think tomato soup and you think like ketchup. Ugh, right? And some of them do taste just like ketchup. It's disgusting. But if they're making this a high quality tomato bisque, which is going to be rich and creamy already, and they're mixing in lobster into it, which lobster has a very good like seafood flavor, I guess, but like a light seafood flavor, like a shrimp. Shrimp and lobster are best served with other things or part of other things. So lobster in the soup would be really good, right? It's the same as like a clam chowder. You guys probably had clam chowder before. So clam chowder, the majority of a clam chowder is not the clam. It has bits of clam in it, and so you get a little bit of that clam flavor, but the majority of the soup is just this rich and creamy broth. It's like a thick broth. It's just like basically milk, essentially. So I like clam chowder because I don't particularly enjoy clams. Like I wouldn't go out and seek clams, but I just like clam chowder because it's creamy. That's what it is. So same thing with a tomato bisque, right? I don't like it for the tomatoes. I like it for the fact that it's creamy. So a lobster tomato bisque is going to be really good. But anyway, all that for $200. Dom Perignon champagne is here in the States, right? Like you can get this at your typical like liquor store. No, not a liquor store. You could get this at like a wholesale alcohol place, like a Total Wine or a Bevmo or something. That's what we have here in California. Edible gold flakes. The the gold flakes probably drive up the price a bit, but it is sort of a novelty. You're paying $200, right? Might as well get some gold flakes, right? You might as well enjoy that experience. So it's a very minimal amount of gold. I don't think removing them would decrease the price that much, honestly, but relatively. I might save like $40, but I don't think you can request it without gold flakes and then get your money back on that. So I mean, when I set up the appointment, I probably would ask because $40 could get me another restaurant meal somewhere, or it could get me one of their Belgian waffles or something. I could ask them like, hey, don't put the gold flakes on, but give me one of your other food items for free, something like that in exchange. Maybe I could negotiate with the person on the phone. Actually sounds like a very anxiety-inducing idea. So I'll probably chicken out on that. Gold flakes, whatever. But yeah, white truffle butter. That sounds good. What was this? I was gonna look this up. Oh, I want to look at the other pictures first. Oh yeah, their sundae is hot chocolate. Oh, they're talking about the sundae. I don't care about the sundae, to be honest. I'm not gonna spend $1,000, right? It's call me crazy for spending $200 on a grilled cheese sandwich, especially one that looks this thin and pathetic. But the people at Mr. Beast said it tasted good, so. So whatever, right? This is freaking Indian lady eating it. It's like just this little. It fits in her hand, like a protein bar. It's like a. She's just like, but yeah, I mean, I like grilled cheese. I want to try it once, right? So it's like I'm not going to New York City tomorrow for it, but well, okay. Look, the thing is, it's like all this stuff, right? And I was talking about this last week. All this stuff is okay. Good, you guys can still hear me. All this stuff is like I don't want to do this by myself, right? It's like $200 on something like this, like $100 milkshake, going to New York City, right? This all stuff like I want to share it with somebody, right? It's like you don't like what was it? Into the Wild, right? Some dude went out and lived life alone in the wilderness, and then he died. Um, and he wrote in the abandoned bus in the middle of the woods that he was living in. He carved out a message with his knife before he died. And the message was, "Happiness is only real when shared." And that really hit me. It really hit me. It's like it's like that connects with like who I am as a person, right? Because it's nothing's enjoyable when you're by yourself. When you're by yourself, it's like when you're by yourself, anything that you enjoy, you want to share with somebody, right? You read a good book, you want to talk about it. You watch a cool show, you want to react to it alongside something and see somebody else's reaction. You eat a good thing like this, right? You eat an expensive, right? Not just a typical like, oh, I got a Big Mac from McDonald's or whatever, right? But you have something like this grilled cheese sandwich, which is an experience. And I forget what kind of cheese it was. It was like Casio, Cavallo cheese. But yeah, you have an experience like this, right? The grilled cheese sandwich is literally cut in half, right? Like obviously you share it with somebody, or like you have a milkshake, right? The $100 milkshake, which I'll look up here in a second. You share that with somebody, right? It's like I'm not gonna chug a whole milkshake by myself if I'm spending that much money on it. Regular milkshakes from like an ice cream shop are normally like $10 in the first place. So I'm paying 10 times the price for something special. But yeah, anyway, it's like you share it, right? This grilled cheese sandwich is cut in half. It's made to be shared. I know that you cut grilled cheese sandwiches in half. I know that you cut sandwiches in half normally, but still, it's like, come on. There's two pieces. You can share it with somebody, right? Dip in the same tomato bisque soup. It's like, who cares, right? You're gonna enjoy it. The gold flakes are put on the outside of like each thing of it or whatever. So it's like cool, right? I don't need to eat gold flakes more than once. So share it with somebody. So anyway, so yeah, that's why I need somebody who would appreciate the good food to enjoy it with me, right? It's like if I'm spending $200, I don't want the whole thing. I want to be able to share it with somebody. That's what makes my money worth it. Whenever I spend money on somebody, it's not, you know, it's because part of the experience, like the majority of the experience, is sharing it with somebody else, right? It's to create a situation where I enjoy something great, but then I can also relate to somebody else that I know who has also enjoyed this great thing. So that's why I got so bummed when because I had caviar, right? The little black fish eggs that I showed you guys a few months ago. And I got really bummed because the rest of my family didn't like it. I got it partially to share it with them. I thought, oh, this great thing, I'll share it with them or whatever. And then, we can all revel in the fact of how great it was. But then they didn't like it. And it's like, okay, you know, Well, I didn't like it, right? So I'm alone in my experience, in my good experience of it. Then, so it's like whatever, right? You can't have everything, and that whole thing taught me a lesson about that. But at the same time, it's still kind of disappointing. So whatever, right? And that was only $100. So it's only $100, right? That's is still a lot of money, but I got to enjoy the caviar, which was fine. I didn't let them ruin my experience of it. Um, but yeah, it's like, especially with like a grilled cheese, right? You're not gonna go wrong with a grilled cheese, even if they don't like lobster tomato bisque. They don't have to have the dipping sauce. You know, you can still enjoy the grilled cheese by itself. You can request it without the gold flakes or whatever, right? It's like, what are you not gonna like about this, right? What are you not gonna like about a grilled cheese sandwich, right? If you don't like cheese, then yeah, sure. But most people like cheese. So if you like cheese, then a really fancy cheese in a grilled cheese sandwich with gold leaves, or with gold leaves doesn't matter. With what was it? The special cheese, which I'm gonna look up in a minute here. The white truffle butter, which honestly, who doesn't like butter? And truffle, I don't know. They sell truffle cooking oil or like truffle oil in the grocery stores, and it's pretty cheap. So it's like artificial truffle flavored, but whatever. I mean, it tastes different. It's not, but it's not like super different, right? It's just like I don't know. It's like the difference between a cheeseburger versus a Big Mac at McDonald's. It's like it's still relatively the same flavor, but it is technically different. So, but yeah. Anyway, the truffle is like the better version of the flavors that we've had before. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had real truffle before, so was it? What is cavallo cheese? Generally mild in taste with a somewhat salty bite. Oh, that's cool, right? So it's like I guess provolone is what I would think. So it's like a fancier, it's like a higher quality provolone cheese basically. I would assume. I would assume. So I haven't had this kind of cheese before, but this is what the grilled cheese has in it. So can I actually get this anywhere? I guess I can get it at Murray's Cheese in Huntington Beach, which Google always thinks I'm in Huntington Beach, even though I'm not. Is it similar to mozzarella? It's a lesser known aged mozzarella that originated in the south of Italy. Like mozzarella is coaxed into a ball shape, then netted and hung to air dry for 6 months, resulting in a. Oh, I guess all cheese is dry or whatever. But yeah, anyway, and then they have the serendipity milkshake. Most expensive milkshake. Here we go. So this one's only $100, but they have a video on it. I'm not gonna play the video. I have no idea what's copyrighted and what's not on YouTube, so I'm not really too keen. Oh boy, they talk about the custom glass. It's adorned with 3,000 premium Swarovski crystals. I mean, it'd probably feel pretty cool to pick it up, but I think I've seen similar cups sold at the Dollar Tree. So I'm not really too impressed. I don't care how valuable these crystals are. I mean, if I can take it home, it'd be cool. Okay, what does this milkshake have in it? It looks pretty good. Doesn't it look pretty good, guys? Like honestly, like I would pay $100 for that. I would pay obviously not every day, but you know, I'd pay $100 once at least. You know, probably maybe like once a year. I would get this honestly. So this is the hot dog that I want. But anyway, we'll look at this one a little later. This was also in a Worth It episode. So all these expensive foods that I want to try, I get off YouTube videos. Like everything in Japan that I want to try, um, BuzzFeed went. The Worth It guys went to Japan, but they tried various things. But also Strictly Dumpling, it's a YouTube channel. He went to Japan and he was trying like ramen and wagyu beef and things like that. So he pointed out a few restaurants before. I've shown you guys some of Strictly Dumplings Japan videos. So there's a ramen shop that apparently like you have to line up at like 4 in the morning to get a reservation for, and it's in like some specific city all the way out. But apparently it's like the best ramen in the world. So that's where I want to go for one of my trips in Japan. So the I would only go to that city where it's at just for the ramen. But since I'm in the city, I would have to then find other things to do for the rest of the day that I'm in that city. So that's my entire. Whenever I think about vacations or going out or anything like that, it's always food first, and then if I have time, do some other stuff or whatever. So there's two reasons for that. One, because I really like food and I'm such a foodie, right? It's, I just want to try all the foods. That's what I want to do. I'm never going to, but I want to at least try all the foods. So that's what I want. In fact, I would visit like other foreign countries. Like I would go to Mexico if it was for food, right? Like Mexico's not a place that I want to go to, but or like South Africa, it's not a place I want to go to. But if they have really good food over there, then maybe I'll go. You know, maybe I'll fly in for a day and then try some cultural delicacies before leaving, right? You know, most of Europe, I don't even think about Europe, right? It's like, oh, every freaking white person over here and every white person wannabe over here thinks about like, oh, I want to go to France. I want to go to France. I want to go to the UK. I want to go to Italy for a vacation. It always baffled my mind, like as a kid, because I was surrounded by those kind of people. Right? I was surrounded by white people and then Asian people who had white culture very ingrained, or American culture very ingrained in them. And the question would be brought up as a kid, oh, what's your ideal vacation? And they would say France, or they would say like the United Kingdom or something. And it's like, what? Why would you want that, right? It's like, this thing, like, I can't think of anything that I've thought of less than going to Europe, just in general, going to Europe. So that's what I thought as a kid. I was like, what do you want to do in freaking Europe? Oh, they have really vintage, things over there and whatnot. They have like art museums and all this sort of stuff, and like landmarks and world wonders and blah blah blah, right? And I'm thinking like first of all, not to be racist, but you sound like you idolize white culture. Honestly, like white people do have a culture, right? It's all centered in Europe. Why does everyone speak English? Why do we have modern architecture? Why are all the expensive paintings coming from Europe, coming from France and Germany and Spain and whatnot, right? Why does the entirety of Central and South America speak Spanish? It's because they all have the European I won't say white culture. That sounds very politically charged. They all have European culture ingrained in them, and it's fine to be born into a culture and ingrained in that being ingrained in you. That's totally fine, right? You can't help how or where or why you were born, but if you live your life idolizing that, then you're trapped in that essentially, right? And it goes for the same with people who idolize Japan. There's a lot of weeaboos out there who they watch anime and they're like, man, I wish I lived in Japan because Japan's so much better, blah blah blah, right? Those people, it's the same. It's the same for those people. They're in the same boat where they're idolizing a culture because that's what they're used to. That's what they're used to idolizing. But it's something that's so far removed from their own, right? I would say that most Hispanics are trapped in that culture or in European culture. They're kind of ball and chain to that because first of all, Spanish, the language itself, came from Spain, who invaded South America and Central America, right? And so that's where the language spread, right? It's not like, oh, all the Spaniards stayed and colonized South America. The Spaniards went to South America, and they conquered them, and then they left. And so I mean, most of them left. Some of them stayed, sure, but like, what do you have? What do you have left? And then, the native people who got their entire culture and their language wiped out, they adopted Spanish, and now they're proud of that. It's like, yeah, gee, wow, we're proud of being conquered by these white men. That's essentially what it is when you, not when you speak Spanish, but when you idolize it, right? When you idolize Spanish and like Latin languages. Where did Latin languages come from? It came from Europe. Why do South Americans and Central Americans have a Latin language? It's because it's because um, it's because Europeans who started that language came over and conquered you, right? Why is everyone in Central and South America Christian? Why are they Catholic or Christian or Protestant or whatever? It's because that's the religion of their conquerors, right? It's not their religion. They didn't think of that in the first place. The Aztecs worshipped like the sun god and the snake god, and they did human sacrifices and stuff. Why is everyone Christian? It's because their conquerors, the white men who came over and basically invaded, and they raped and pillaged and killed everybody in South America, that was their religion, and that they forced onto the people. Spanish was their language that they forced the people to learn. And now, 400 years later, you idolize it? Like, talk about Stockholm syndrome, right? Talk about sympathizing with your captors, right? Anyway, I could say a number of things in that train of thought, but I won't. But anyway, so why did I start talking about all this? Oh yeah, people idolizing Europe. I think it's the silliest thing. The reason why I want to go to Japan and why like I want to live in Japan is solely for the food, right? I don't give a shit about anything else. Their culture, whatever. Their the origins of the people, whatever, right? I'm half Japanese, and yet you show me any like classic Japanese literature or classic Japanese arts or anything culturally sensitive like that, I'm gonna go to sleep. I don't care. I don't care at all. I've never cared. Right? In fact, I think that classical Japanese art looks like shit. I honestly do. You guys look at this. You guys look at this. Classical Japanese arts. Here we go. You guys look at this. The famous picture of like the wave. I mean, that's a cool wave. I have like or my mom got like a poster of it or whatever. Yeah, I mean this is all right, right? It's a wave. It looks cool, I guess. But this stupid. Look at look at how they drew. Look at how they drew people back then. These stupid faces. Look at the long face, with, like the big nose and everything, and they're in goofy poses like this. Who likes this? Who idolizes this? And yet you look at like Japanese history, which I know a little Japanese history. I'm not too into it, but back in like feudal Japan, the not geishas, but like entertainers, like guys who would perform entertainment like plays and stuff on 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 stage for people. They would dress up like this. they would dress up in like the overly extravagant robes, and they would put on like the makeup and the face paint so they looked like um so that their heads looked like this, and they would shape their hair to be like in this style and whatnot, right? And they would go on there, and that would be like a character of them. They would depict themselves like it is in the art. Just fine and dandy, but it's not really like a culture that I think is worth idolizing. Like, it's cool to learn about, but it's like, do you like, is does this look cool to you? Like, does this really like, is this really something to like be appreciative of? Like, I don't know. So anyway, it's the same with like European culture, right? It's the same with like European culture. Like, it's like, look at this. This is supposed to be a woman. It's disgusting. Like, honestly, like, oh my god, if I woke up next to this every day and this was my wife, like, kill me now. Honestly, God has forsaken us. Ugh. Some of their art's fine, right? But like this one, I know this one's supposed to be funny, and it is pretty comical. Like, I could understand how like Japanese people back in the day probably found this to be comical, and this is one of the ones that the performers would dress up as. And yeah, if it's a comedy, oh, he looks silly and he's acting silly, that's fine, right? It plays the part. But I don't know. It's not like I'm bashing on the culture or anything. People can have their culture and be fine, but it's just like, with like modern art nowadays, and especially like some of the anime that Kyoto Studios pops out, like Kyoto Animation Art Style. Here we go. You compare that what I just showed you with something like freaking with something like Violet Evergarden. There's no comparison. You can't even, like, you guys watched Violet Evergarden? This is like, it's just a beautiful show. It's like you can't even compare the two. I mean, Violet Evergarden is like just a masterpiece. But again, it's a masterpiece because it looks good, right? It looks good. Oh, Kyoto Animations did a silent voice. Like, look at this art. Look at this art, and I understand that there's more technology behind it, so obviously they can make it look good. But honestly, like, people can pencil and paper this. People can get out a piece of paper and colored pencils and create this, right? The people at Kyoto Animations have to be able to draw it on the piece of paper before it gets scanned onto the computer and makes the animations. So you have, what is it, like hundreds of artists per company who are able to create this extravagant amount of art. And this looks fantastically better than anything from classical Japan. So while the culture is there, and it's good to recognize it and appreciate that it exists, it's not really something to fangirl over or fanboy over or anything like that, right? It's like, when I look at history, I look at things in the perspective of what kind of cultural impact did it have, right? How did the Japanese use that classical literature and the classical art in order to entertain themselves when they had nothing else? How did they entertain themselves? And then that's what you have, right? That's your answer. And, a perspective like that. How did the people act based off of this? How did their senses of humor or their interests or their hobbies shape around what was available to them at the time? That's interesting to me. And so I'll never bash a place's culture because that's what's available to them. But I think that once you leave that behind, once there is technology available and once there is, other things available, it's like, once there are other languages available, it's like, why would you continue doing that? You know, why would the South Americans continue speaking Spanish when all the Spaniards left and they could have their own culture back? Why would they continue being Christians 400 years later when that wasn't their people's original religion, right? It's like, and one religion is not more correct than the other ones, or more logical than the other ones, right? The Aztecs, who were in South America, and the Mayans, they did human sacrifices to the sea serpent god so that they wouldn't get flooded or whatever, right? You look at Christianity, it's the same exact thing. It's what kind of stories do you read in the Old Testament and even some in the New Testament. You read about, like, you know, oh, God is going to kill this whole town's people, but oh, the true Christians need to like sacrifice a goat and put the goat carcass on their front door so God knows not to kill their children. It's like, and then oh, all the non-believers got, that night got their babies killed or whatever in their sleep, and then all the Roman midwives, screamed in terror at that because they didn't sacrifice a goat and put it on their front fucking door. It's like that's the kind of shit you read in the Bible. Like, how is Christianity any more sane than any of the other religions you had? Right? It's not. It's just different. And so it's not like, oh, Christianity just stuck, right? It's the people submitted to it. That's what it is. Culturally, historically, the people submitted to it. It's always just, it baffles my mind, right? And Christian values are fine, right? You strip Christianity of all of its silly stories and, God-fearing stuff, and the moral values taught in Christianity are totally fine, right? And, that's sort of when I say, like, oh, when I reference religion at all as a good thing, I'm talking just about like the moral values that it teaches, and that's pretty much it, right? Because I don't care about the validity of any of it, honestly. So, but yeah. Anyway, it's like, culturally speaking, this is a great movie, by the way, guys. This movie made me cry. Oh my god! Like at multiple points. Like I felt like I lived 10 lifetimes watching this movie, to be honest. So that's a little bit of exaggeration. I felt like I watched 3 different movies when I watched this movie, honest to God. Like, the first 20 minutes were like a movie by itself, and oh my God. I loved this movie. God, such a good movie. A Silent Voice is what this one is. What's in Japanese? Koi no Katachi. That's what it is. Koi no Katachi. Which I guess translates to a voice's silence. Something like that. I don't know. A silent voice. This movie's fantastic. But anyway, like way better than Your Name, for sure. They came out relatively the same time, and Your Name was the one that stuck. The one that became more popular, I guess. I think it had Ghibli Studios behind it. I don't know. This had Kyoto Animations, though. This one was beautiful. But what's I talking about? Oh yeah, culture. So anyway, European culture. It's like, it's nothing to fantasize about, right? It's nothing like, historically speaking, European culture developed and it had an impact on the world in history. That's totally fine, right? It's fine to recognize that and even learn about it. That's cool. But like, when people list like Europe, any country in Europe as like their vacation destination, I feel like it's a mix between idolizing white culture as like the default thing, right? Because you've only grown up, even if you're like an ethnic person, you've grown up around white culture, and that's what you're fantasizing, or that's what you're used to, or whatever, right? But it's a combination between that and then not having anywhere else to go, right? It's like, oh, which is, again, it's a social pressure kind of idea. Oh, it's a normal thing to go on vacation, or it's a normal thing to want to go on vacation, right? So, but where do I want to go on vacation? Well, what kind of things have I heard about? Oh, I've heard about Europe. I've heard about France and their arts. And so I'll go to France for their art, right? Which is, again, if you're like an art person, it's totally fine, right? If like you appreciate that kind of stuff, that's totally fine. There are people who genuinely like France and genuinely like art. In fact, I've seen this complained about on the internet before. I've seen this talked about where somebody who wants to go to France because they're an art person and they really like art will actually complain about, or has actually commented on, the fact that, oh, there's just a bunch of white girl basic bitches out there who just want to go to France just to go to France, right? They don't want, they don't care about the art there. They go to the art museums because their rich dad paid for it, but paid for their spring break vacation to France. But they don't give a shit, right? It's just a status thing for them. Oh, I went to France, and oh, isn't that cool? It's so quirky of me. I went to France, right? And so these people who actually want to go to France for an actual legitimate reason, like because they enjoy art and they appreciate good art and they want to go to these art museums or whatever, or they want to visit like the 16th chapel or the Sistine Chapel or whatever, right? Which is still a great place to go to, right? It's like these people, who are passionate about this stuff, they have a real reason of going, and they'll have a real appreciation of actually going there and experiencing it. They have commented on how there are other people who don't have that same passion or that same like reason for going, who just simply go just to go, right? I've seen those kind of people comment on those other kind of people, and that's sort of, again, that's sort of the thing that I'm complaining about. I suppose it's this, it's this default fascination for Europe that these people have, that they're just like, oh yeah, it's just, I gotta pick somewhere. France. I hear France is great, right? Hors d'oeuvres and caviar and art museums. Oh, they have the Da Vinci and over there and all this sort of stuff. Like, okay, like you don't care that much, and first of all, but I think more importantly, you don't. It's just this default thing, right? It's like it's the same kind of people who answer in that way, who are they're probably not going to go on vacation ever, right? Because it's kind of a pain or whatever. And there's a lot of people who will say like France or Europe or whatever as an answer as to where do you want to go on vacation, but they never go on vacation. In fact, the majority of people in America never leave the country, so like at all. So and they still give an answer. Oh, it'd be nice to go to Europe, but then it's like, do you have a reason why it'd be nice to go to Europe, or are you just saying that? And most of the time, they're just saying that, or most of the time, they've idolized a white culture that they're not even a part of, right? Or not that they're not a part of, because who cares about that? But they're idolizing a white culture, a European culture that they really don't have a reason to idolize. So again, if you have a real reason of like idolizing, or not idolizing, right? I don't think idolizing anything is good, but if you have a real reason to like appreciate something, then that's more than enough, right? If you're actually going to enjoy the arts at a museum, at an art museum in France, then by all means, that's a perfectly good reason to go to there, right? I would go to Japan just for the food, so you can go to France just for the art, so that's totally fine, right? That's like, I'm never gonna make fun of that. That's not what I'm making fun of here. I'm making fun of people who idolize white culture just because it's white, right? That's what it is. So I don't, someone like me, I don't want to go to Japan because I idolize Japanese culture. I'm Japanese and I don't idolize Japanese culture. I don't want to return to the land of my people. In fact, when I go to Japan, I'm going to completely disassociate from that, right? It's like I don't consider myself Japanese, so I'm just going to act like some foreign tourist over there. What The only reason I want to go to Japan is for the food. Like there's enough of a dense concentration of food in Japan where I could reasonably make a vacation over there worthwhile. There's the food in Japan, which is a great variety, enough to the point where I would enjoy myself for a vacation or even living there. And then you got the hot springs over there, which is my number two on my thing. And then that's it, right? It's like if I only do those two things, right? I don't have to go to the famous Japanese places. I don't have to visit the temples. That's one of the things. You look up like, oh, what can you do in Japan as a tourist? And most people will say like, oh, you can visit the classic Japanese temples that have been around since the feudal area. I don't give a shit about Japanese temples. Why would I care? Or oh, you can visit the art museums over there or read classical literature. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Why would I care about any of that? Why would I waste my time going to a Japanese temple when that cuts into my eating food and then recovering from eating food time, right? Because if I can have a great meal in a Japanese in an authentic specialty Japanese restaurant and then go back to my hotel and enter my personal hot spring in my hotel, that's my whole vacation. That's my whole vacation. In fact, I'll take a flight there tomorrow if I only do that once. Like that's all I care about, right? It's I don't care, right? I don't it's like I don't care about anything else. Or you can go to the park, or you can do the soccer. You can view the sakura blossoms or whatever, right? The cherry blossom trees or whatever. Okay, if I have time, but it's gonna have to be between meals, right? That's like I want to try some convenience store food over there. So maybe when I get some convenience store food, then I'll go check out the cherry tree blossoms. But that's about it, right? That's like I'm not gonna make that the focal point of my journey over there. If I visit other cities in Japan besides Tokyo, it's gonna be for the food, right? There are other cities that have specialty foods over there that you know that I would like to do, but yeah, that would be for that reason, right? So does you guys like the pretty anime girl? She's deaf, by the way. She's deaf. Uh, that's a hard of hearing one. So for all these 6 year olds out there who don't know the definition of deaf, I just told you, right? Hard of hearing, or can't hear or whatever. So that's the main focal point. Oh, she's doing a little peace sign. That's the main focal point of the story is that she can't hear. She's deaf. She has hearing aids or whatever, like the little machines in her ears. So that's kind of the main premise of the story. Is that she's deaf. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Isn't Kyoto Animation so pretty though? Oh my god, this is a low res picture, so it's not gonna look that as great. But you guys have seen Violet Evergarden or whatever, right? It's beautiful. Oh my god, that scene in Violet Evergarden where she jumps and she has the umbrella and she tries to float as she's like skipping across the water. Oh my god, it's just the just oh my god, I can rewatch that scene a million times and never get sick of it. That scene is so beautiful. Holy crap. And the amount of emotion that's behind that scene too, because you have the whole episode building up to that. Oh my god, what a great show. Violet Evergarden is not a 10 out of 10 for me, but like at all. But I think that the moments that it does do good, it does fantastic. And it's like the whole show, the whole 12 episode series is worth watching just for like those 3 or 4 good moments. So it's a hit or miss, right? It's a hit or miss. So the episode with the older guy and he's riding and with the skipping across water scene, that one was great. And then and that's about it for me, to be honest. But some people like the letter writing one. They're all letter writing ones. The one where it's like she goes to that mansion and it's there's a little girl and her like sickly mother or whatever. That one people like. It's hard to describe that one without spoiling it. Um, People liked that one because it's such a unique concept, but I had already heard about that concept from some other things, so yeah, just what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Yeah, see, people who like idolize white culture, it's kind of weird. I mean, if you're white, then it's fine, I guess. And if you're white and you care about heritage, then that's fine. But I think other than that, it's like it's kind of odd. So whatever, right? Different strokes, I guess. So obviously, and again, if you have like a passion for something, like I have a passion for food. That's why I want to go to Japan, and I think, or that's why I would want to go to other places besides Japan too for their food. So, and I think that's totally fine, right? Like I have a real reason of going to Europe because if I want a vacation to Europe, I would take it because they have different foods over there, and I would actually like to try other foods. Like I would go to France for the food, and if I had a wife who wanted to go to France for the food or for the arts or whatever, then that's totally fine, right? We could make it a worthwhile vacation out of that. But it's because we're both passionate about something, right? We're both passionate about something that we can find in France. So me the food, her the arts, right? That's or whatever, right? And so obviously, if you're a person who has a reason or has something that you would appreciate and has a real reason to go to the place for a vacation, that's totally fine, right? Because it's not like, oh, you're going on vacation to Vegas, right? You don't have to have a real passion to go to Vegas or to New York or on a cruise ship or something like that, right? Like a cruise ship is a good counter example because you go on a cruise and you don't necessarily care about where the cruise is going. All you really care about is enjoying your time on the big boat. That's what it is. So going on a cruise, but again, going on a cruise is, or not again, but going on a cruise is kind of a low investment vacation, right? Because I can go to like over here we have Long Beach. That's where a lot of the cruises take off. So I can go to Long Beach and get on a cruise, and I don't even care where it's going to. I'm still gonna have a good time because I'm on a cruise ship, right? But that's if I wanted to spend the money to go on a cruise ship, which I wouldn't. But if I won like a cruise vacation, then I would enjoy it. But I wouldn't appreciate anything about the cruise ship. I don't care about boats. Boats are cool, I guess, but I'm not going to go specifically on a boat to perform boat appreciation or anything like that. But the thing is, that doesn't matter in that equation because going on a cruise is such a casual thing, right? What am I out? I'm out like $150, which isn't that much for a vacation, and then whatever, I get to enjoy my time for a couple days. It's cool. But you know, that's the whole thing. It's that it's not traveling anywhere, right? Like going to Europe is a pretty big ordeal. And even if you don't think it is, even if you're a millionaire already and you're just doing it just cuz, it still is a pretty big ordeal. The preparation for it, the amount of money that you're paying, obviously, but then the amount of time that you have to invest. If you go to Europe, you're not going there for one day, right? Because it's like a 16-hour flight, depending on where in the country you are, but it's a long flight. Going from New York to France, that's a long flight. And so you're not going to just do that willy nilly, right? It's not like going on a cruise ship where, oh, I feel like I'm going on a cruise ship next week. It's not like that. Like you don't feel like going to Europe next week, right? Not unless you have a private jet or something, which there are some people who do. But they what was I saying? I keep losing my train of thought. I keep thinking about different things that have nothing to do with the discussion. But I was I said private jet and I started thinking about Mr. Beast. But yeah, anyway, going to Europe isn't something you do willy nilly. So, because of the amount of inconvenience that it is, I imagine that you would need a real reason to go, right? It's not just, oh, I'm going on vacation, where should I go, right? People who ask that are kind of silly because, they're silly gooses, in my opinion, um, because of the fact that it's like, you're not, they're silly gooses because I think going that far out of your way to go on vacation should be it should be somewhere you want to go, right? and you have the desire to go somewhere because you have a passion for it, because you have a passion for something. I want to try different foods. Like for me, for example, right? I'm a foodie. I want to try different foods. So if I was a millionaire and I've already been to Japan, and then I see, like, I don't know, a YouTube video about, oh, the great food you can eat in Belgium, then I'll be like, great, time to go to Belgium, right? But I'm going to Belgium only for the food. If there's other things in Belgium to enjoy, I'll enjoy them once I'm there. But the main reason would be to go for the food, right? Or if I see, like, or like, let's say, let's go away from food. I have a book called The Pillars of Earth. So, and it's a book about building a cathedral in Europe, in medieval Europe, and that's how they're gonna bring people together or something. I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know what the story is. But anyway, I read the foreword in the book, and the author was talking about how he drew inspiration for writing the book based on his visits to these Roman cathedrals, these giant Roman churches, when he was in Italy. And he, thought it was, he saw one and he thought it was really cool. And so he made a note to visit other cathedrals around Europe. And he got a passion for it. And he read about the history. He would read about the history and the architecture and, the ideas that went behind a lot of these cathedrals that were being built back in like the 11th century. And he got really fascinated because of that, and he had to make trips out to Europe in order to go around to the different cathedrals. He went to Italy, he went to, where else are there cathedrals? I don't know, other countries that have cathedrals. Spain, I guess. Other places like that. But he was visiting cathedrals, and he had a real passion for them. And so, I would think that, I was thinking that, okay, if I read this book, because I could recognize through his words that he did have a real passion for cathedrals. And so him going on vacations specifically to visit these cathedrals made sense, because he has a passion behind it, and he has an appreciation for this. And just like with food, you get more from actually eating the food than you do just from hearing about how it tastes. And in that same train of thought, you get more out of actually visiting the dang cathedral than you would just from reading a book about it, right? So I would imagine for me, if I read this book that's about building a cathedral, that's based off all this knowledge of real cathedrals built in real life, I might get interested in cathedrals and in classic Roman cathedrals, and I might want to go to Italy just to check out the cathedrals. I might want that. And so if that were the case, then I'm taking a vacation to Italy. I'm going to Rome. I'll enjoy the Roman food, and I'll also enjoy going to the cathedral, and I will do nothing else over there, right? I don't care about the culture of Italy. I don't care about the Italians, Mario. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. Who cares? All I care about is what I'm passionate about. Is about the things that I'm going for, the reasons I'm going, right? And I think it's a completely valid response if you ask someone about, oh, how was your vacation? Did you visit this place or did you do this place? And they're like, no, I didn't even think about that. That's a completely valid response. Because it's like, if I go, like, let's say I go to Japan, right? And then I come back and people are like, oh, you went to Japan? Did you visit any of the temples? I'm going to be like, fuck no. Why would I visit the temples? That cuts into my eating food time. That cuts into my chilling out in the hot springs time. I didn't visit your silly temples like you would have, but I enjoyed myself based off the things I want to enjoy. That's what it is. That's all that it is. Because my vacation is based off of what I want, right? It's based off of what I'm passionate about. Your vacation will be based off of what you're passionate about, right? Maybe you don't like ramen or Wagyu beef or hot springs, but you'll still go to Japan because you like classic Japanese temples and art museums and the specially bred cows over there. I guess I can't think of other. Why would you want to go to Japan other than like these six reasons. It's like I can't. It's hard to figure out. So there are other places in Japan that are cool, and I don't admonish anybody who enjoys different, who, not necessarily like does things outside of their passions, right? If I were to spend a month in Japan, then I'm probably going to experience other things that I didn't necessarily care about before going to Japan in the first place, right? I know they have like different museums that are like really weird and like out there and stuff. That'd be cool, I guess. I'm not gonna like care too much, but like I'll do it, I'll experience it, and if I'm with somebody who does care, then it's cool or whatever. Or if I'm with somebody who doesn't care either, then it's like, okay, well, we can experience this whole kind of mediocre thing together, right? It's like that's totally fine, right? It's like, you know, I'm not admonishing anybody who finds enjoyment from things they aren't passionate about when going on vacation. The only people I'm admonishing are people who go on vacation to somewhere just because they heard it's cool. Or just because, oh, I guess that looks neat. So I'll go to France, right? It's like, what? Like, that's not a good enough reason to get on an airplane and disappear for a week. That's not a good not that that's bad, but I just think it's a complete waste of time, honestly. Like, why would I go to a country just because I hear it's cool? Why would I go to England just to visit Big Ben? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about big clock towers. Oh, I got to see it and I took a picture next to it, or the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? I got to stand there and pretend that I'm like that I'm holding up the Leaning Tower. I'm pretending that it's falling on me or whatever. Who cares, right? Why are there so many people why are there so many people who go on vacation and just doing that, right? It's like you have no other reason you have no reason at all in the first place to go to Italy other than, oh, I want to visit Italy, right? If your only reason for visiting a country is to visit the country, that's not a good enough reason to even get on the plane and go there in the first place, in my opinion, right? Obviously, if you're a millionaire and you're retired or whatever, or if you don't have anything else to do, then sure, go to a new country every month. That's totally fine, right? You'll knock them all out in 10 years. But 10, I think 15 years, you'll knock them all out. But anyway, it's like, as long as you don't go to any of the African ones. But yeah, it's like, don't go to Europe just for the sake of going to Europe. Don't go to France just because, oh, that's the hot destination or whatever, right? Go to France because you like something, right? That's what I'm saying. Go to France because you actually like French art. Or actually go to France because you want to eat their food. There are a couple really expensive restaurants in France that have like really specialty food that I actually want to go to. So I watched a YouTube video on it. But I forgot what the restaurant was. And I forgot what the YouTube video was. I don't even remember what the channel was anymore. Oh well. Never going there. I'm not going to France. I mean, I could go to France, but if they have a cathedral there, I would actually be kind of fascinated. So this guy's like 6-page blurb about how he's passionate about like Roman cathedrals has actually gotten me kind of interested in cathedrals. You enter a big cathedral that's like, where the ceiling is like 1,000 feet tall, and that'd be really cool. So it's definitely a different kind of feeling that you get there, compared to anywhere else in the world. So that would be an experience for sure. So, but again, it's this goose is memorizing. He's just been calling me a silly goose this whole time. How dare he? But yeah, it's just like, don't go somewhere just to go somewhere, right? Have like a reason to go somewhere, right? I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, even if I'm going on like a 5-hour road trip somewhere, it's like I gotta have a reason for that, right? If I'm leaving the front door of my house, I gotta have a reason for doing it, right? That's basically what it comes down to. I guess I'm the minority here because let's play devil's advocate. I guess I'm the minority here because I find it such a pain just to put on some day clothes and to leave my front door in the day that it's like, okay, you know, why, like, why would I go on vacation somewhere, right? Why would I go to a completely different country when I don't even care enough to, like, leave my house? So I would leave my house if I was going to Japan, but not to freaking Europe. I hear that backpacking in Europe is actually pretty fun, though, so I would actually go to Europe for that reason, but that's because that's something that I'm interested in. See, I would go to Europe, but like not any of the major cities or whatever. Like I would go to Ireland. Ireland is one because just you guys see like scenic Ireland, scenic Ireland. Here we go. I hope there's not a city. Look at this. Look at this. It's like my Google Chrome background. Oh my god. God, what a pretty place. Holy crud. There's a road there, kind of ruins it, but other than that, or it kind of it's in the way. Other than that, like, oh god, I would just love to walk through this. The misty overcast of the clouds blocking out the sun. The sound of the rushing of the flowing rivers and the streams going into that little lake there that you could just chill by. Being able to climb these mountains just for the satisfaction of figuring out your way to climb up to the top, and then just getting to the peak and just looking over everything that you were just in as if it were like the smallest thing in the world. Oh, what satisfaction. Jeez, I would love that. There's gonna be other pictures. I've seen some really cool pictures of Ireland, but like other places in Europe have this, like France, for example. Like I'm not finding anything for Ireland. This looks cool. Oh my god, this looks cool. Look at this, look at the bricks. It's like little, they're hexagons. They're hexagons. Why is nature so like geometrically perfect? But yeah, anyway, you could have this just be a bunch of fun just stepping on these bricks. Stepping on the bricks, boop, 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 boop. And then hearing the waves crashing up against the lower bricks on the cliff that you're right next to. Ah, that'd be so nice. It'd be so nice. God, I love stuff like this. It looks cool. It looks cool, and it'd be nice to. Honestly, like I'm the kind of fella who would, you know, if I had a tent and a few cans of food and a book, I would set up a tent right up here in the middle of it all, and just or like a sleeping bag out in the open. Just go sleep. Wake up, watch that sunset over the ocean's horizon. And hear the crashing waves get louder or quieter depending on if it's high tide or low tide. Watching the clouds go by, a good book, keep me entertained. I would live on this rock. I would live on this rock. Oh my god, not forever, but for a good while, I would for sure. So, and it goes the same with like any of these. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. They have like a little town there. I would live in this town. Honestly, I wouldn't live in this town. I would live on the mountain. I would live on top of this mountain and then hike down and up to the town every day. Or not every day, but whenever I needed to. That'd be fun. Look, there's a little cave down here. There's a little cave. I would make it like I would put a canoe here on the beach, tie it up with something, and then whenever I want to take it out, I can just take the canoe, row your boat all the way to the cave. I could check out the waterfall, or I could go in the cave and then you just hear the inside of a cave. Deep inside cave. Hey, look at that. Oh my god. You just hang out with the rocks, or there's gotta be better pictures. Insides of caves are cool. Yeah, this. Oh my god. Oh, it's underwater. Dang it, there's not a good picture. There are some caves that are like really cool. Um, I guess I looked up deep caves. But it's like cool. You have the mist of the water falling and falling into the cave, but then it's just like it's very cool and temperate, and it echoes and all that. Oh, it's cool. Bunch of rocks. I could live inside a cave. Oh my gosh. But yeah, anyway, France. I would go to France to like visit a castle. That'd be cool. But yeah, got a bunch of nature. Uh, Countryside of France. That's probably what I should have looked up for Ireland. France. I mean, the France. It looks like France has a lot of fields. So so you're gonna be going through like farms in the countryside and stuff. I mean, the kind of classic feel of France is cool too. Like this. It's cool. You could technically find this in America, but it's rare. So just being surrounded by this would be cool. Just houses that are kind of built into these. What are they called? There's a Spanish word for it. I don't know either version. It's like a mud house. Or like here. I mean, this would be cool to see. I guess I wouldn't take a. That's the thing though. I wouldn't take a vacation just to see this stuff, right? But I would take a vacation for the French food. Specialty food of France. Here we go. They have like different kinds of bread and stuff over here. So oh, these are all American recipes. Cheese boards. I've had a cheese board before. All right. Crepes. Oh, I'm sure France does crepes really well. Although I do have a crepe place like 5 minutes from my house. What do they call? What do they call snails? Are those called hors d'oeuvres? Seven most famous foods in Paris. See, look at that. It's an orange native to France, but then it's filled with mush, and they're calling it Cedric Grolet. What I'll eat it. I don't care. I'll put the whole thing in my mouth if that's what they recommend. They have a lot of articles about foods you have to try in France. I guess a lot of people just want to go to France as a default, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I'm there. Might as well listen to this BuzzFeed article." That's that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. So that's my cynicism speaking. But regional dishes. That's what you would call it. Well, this looks pretty good. It's bread with whatever the heck this is. Ooh, that looks good. This looks like a green pesto. Looks like pesto. I love pesto. Man, if I could have a French pesto. Is pesto Italian? Huh. I don't know. Anyway, wherever it's from, wherever it does it good. Oh, I'm so hungry. Oh my god. Just looking at food. But yeah, great. It'd be awesome. I like this. But I would go to France specifically for the food. But the thing is, people are just simply going to France just to go to France. And then as an afterthought, oh, maybe I'll try some of their regional dishes. like that's the mindset some people have going on vacation. It's like whenever I hear people say like, oh, like I say, oh, where would you want to travel to the most? They would be like, maybe France. Then it's like, okay, well, you clearly have put no thought into it other than I want to go to France, right? That's not like there's nothing you specifically want to do over there. There's no specific reason you want to go on vacation over there. You just want to go on vacation, and that seems like an okay place to go, right? That's what it is. That's what it boils down to. And I just don't, whenever I hear people talking about like going to France specifically, either France or the UK, I just think like, especially the UK, because there's nothing in the UK, but I just think like, man, you're such a basic bitch. Like that's my first opinion of somebody who wants to go to France. But then I ask them like, why do you? But then that's the thing. I don't judge them on the outside. So what I'll do is I'll be like, okay, why do or what I should be doing? I guess I'm a little more judgmental than that. So it's one of my flaws. But God, this looks good. But what I should be doing, honestly, and life's a long time. It's a lifelong lesson. But what I should be doing is I should be like, okay, why do you want to go to France? And then if they say something like, oh, I'm really passionate about art and I want to visit all the art museums to check out the art or whatever, or there's a specific place I want to go to or whatever, right? It's like, okay, fair enough, right? You have a passion, you have a real reason for going there. You didn't just give it because you're a basic bitch like, every freaking high schooler that I went to school with. You have an actual reason of wanting to go there. So it's like, okay, that's fine, right? As long as it's not just, oh, I just feel like going to France and that seems like a cool place because that's what everyone says. And also, as long as you're not idolizing like European culture as being like supreme or just being like the default or whatever, right? It's like what I talked about last week about, white being the default race or whatever, just because the white people won. That's not how it is. In fact, Japan is very xenophobic. They don't take kindly to the the immigration of other races. So that's a spider. Gonna kill it with the cap here. Got him. There we go. But yeah, as long as you're not he's just gonna stay on the wall. It's a little tiny guy, so it just looks like a black dot on my wall. But yeah, anyway, as long as that's decoration in my room. But yeah, as long as you're not idolizing white culture or anything. So I don't think any culture should be idolized necessarily. I think that every culture should be looked at objectively and then determined if you can find interest in it, and that's totally fine. Which is why people who want to go to art museums in France are it's completely fine, right? That's like go on vacation, right? Save up for it. That's totally if that's your passion, if that's what you want to do, go for it. I understand that, right? I would go for the food, right? Or I don't know about this food specifically. It seems like I could make all this at home, but like I go to Japan just for the food and the hot springs. So it's like I'm not one to judge that. But what it is, it's that as long as you're not idolizing it, as long as you're not like you know revering it as like better than it actually is, right? Because in my opinion, every culture, everything should be looked at objectively, and you can find interest in something, right? The Roman cathedrals, that's an interesting thing, right? It's like, the amount of history behind that and all of this sort of stuff is cool, honestly. Like, and just going to Rome just to check out the cathedrals and then leaving the next day, perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly excusable. Don't go to Rome just because, and then as an afterthought be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check out the cathedral or whatever. It's like you went on vacation for the wrong reasons. That's all I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying in this half an hour rant about something that doesn't even matter yet again. That's what it is. But yeah, anyway, we were talking about this milkshake. This milkshake looks good, right? I would go to New York not because oh, New York's such a fun. New York is another place where it's like, where do you want to go on vacation, or what city do you want to visit, and people will just say New York City. But you ask them why, and most people will be like, I don't know. I don't know, because it's a popular city. It's like, no, you're idolizing it, right? You're just going just because, and you're a basic bitch, right? Go for a reason. I want to go to New York City because I want to try their pizza. That's totally fine, right? That's totally fine. I want to go to Coney Island. It's totally fine, right? That's, you saw pictures of Coney Island, and man, this looks good. Oh, this looks so freaking good though. Before I switch tabs, oh, it's a puff pastry with cream on the inside, but it's in a circle. That looks so good. Ah, with the airy middle like a donut. It's basically just like 20 puff pastries all cooked together with chocolate drizzle and hazelnuts on top, or pecans, I believe those are. Whatever. Maybe hold the pecans. I'm not too much of a nut guy, but oh, this looks so good. Oh, so fluffy and airy on that bread with the rich cream. Oh God, that looks good. Again, I wouldn't go to France just for this. I'd figure out how to do it myself, but still, if I'm in France for the other food and I want a dessert and this is in front of me, then sure, right? Anyway, what was I looking up? Coney Island. Ireland? No, in New York. You think like, man, I love theme parks and I want to go to I that might be wait. No, I'm getting multiple results. Oh, is the theme park at Coney Island called Luna Park? What a weird name for a theme park. Oh, they have a train. Nice. See, I would go to New York for the trains. I knew somebody who was like obsessed with trains, so I could see them going to New York just for the trains. I could see them going to Japan just for the trains. And it's like that's both are completely acceptable vacations if that's what you're passionate about, right? You just want to check out the trains and ride on the trains and stuff. In fact, that person who was obsessed with the trains, I recommended going to Japan because it's trains there. But yeah, anyway, this you see this and you're like, man, big theme park. I want to go. Then you take a trip to New York, right? That's totally acceptable, right? If you like theme parks or you would enjoy that or whatever, right? It's like totally fine, right? Just as long as the places that you're going aren't like necessarily an afterthought. As long as the entire vacation isn't filled with places you're going to just as an afterthought because oh, I want to go to New York City just because, and then and then once you're there, you're like, okay, I guess maybe we'll do this and that or whatever, right? Like I get, even if you're going on vacation just because you like vacations, it's totally fine, right? It's like okay, you put into like a randomizer, or you put in like a hat names of different countries you can go to, and then you pick one from the hat, and you're like, okay, guess I'm going to Portugal next week. Then that's fine, right? If that's what you like to do, then that's totally fine, right? But people choose their one vacation that they're going on, and they choose the United Kingdom. It's like, okay, well, have fun not having fun for the next week, right? It's because there's nothing to do over there. This looks fine. This looks cool. This looks like a drawn picture, to be honest, like colored pencils. But yeah, anyway, it's God, somebody who can draw art and then opens up like commissions for their art. You could make a decent amount of money doing that. Not like you're not gonna be rich, and I don't even think it could replace a day job. But God, somebody who can just draw people's requested art, especially if you get into like a niche or something. then, for like $10 a pop, it's like you draw a picture for an hour and you sell that. You do that like once a day. That's pretty good pocket change, to be honest. Like, $10 a day. After like 2 weeks, you have over $100. Or, well, prices are a little higher than that. I'd say after 1 week, you gotta have $100. And then what can you spend $100 on? Well, you can get this silly little milkshake, right? It's like great. So anyway, I wouldn't, if I go to New York, I'm not going to Coney Island. It's not, I don't need theme parks, especially this kind of theme park. It actually, people always talk about Coney Island. Yeah, it is called Luna Park. It must mean something. I mean, I know what the name Luna means, but it's kind of a weird name for something that's next to a beach that people would normally enjoy during the day. Huh. What a weird name. Anyway, yeah, this place looks kind of basic, to be honest. Like, my county fair has more to do than this amusement park seems to have. So that's kind of sad. But anyway, yeah, no. So just what was I talking about? This milkshake. Look how good this milkshake looks. Oh my god. This milkshake is made from Jersey milk, made from cows originally bred in the Channel Islands, which are popular for the high fat butter content. Yeah, nice. So there's not just prestige behind the milk, but there's an actual reason why their milk is good. High butter fat content. I don't know what that means necessarily. Like, I've drinking whole milk, and whole milk is a lot creamier than like 2% milk. And whole milk is higher in fat, so I would assume that a high butter fat content in the milk would make it extra creamy milk. Tahitian vanilla ice cream, sourced from premium slow grown sun cured vanilla beans from Tahiti. I was gonna say Tahisha, but I don't think that's the place. It's Tahiti. It's weird. It's Tahiti, but then the people in Tahiti are Tahitian. They're not Tahitian. Or maybe it is pronounced Tahitian. Oh no. I'm not gonna Google that. We can just not know for the end of time until the end of time. Devonshire luxury clotted cream. Hey, luxury is my name. Luxury clotted cream. Produced in Devon, England, this thick and rich cream is made from heating fine milk until a thick layer of golden cream forms on the surface. Wait, isn't heating milk not that great? Or are you only taking the golden cream foams from the surface and using that? It's clotted cream. I wonder. That sounds pretty good. Golden cream. Madagascar vanilla beans. Wait, they used the Tahitian vanilla from the vanilla beans, but then they have Madagascar vanilla beans. As the most labor intensive to grow, the Madagascar vanilla plants, Vanilla planifolia, take up to 3 years to produce beans that are intense in flavor. You're telling me you gotta freaking take care of and grow this vanilla plant for 3 years in order to get anything from it? Dude, that's so stupid. Talk about inefficient, but whatever. They do this with alcohol too, so. And alcohol, the longer that like a whiskey is aged, the more expensive it is. So like 100-year aged whiskey or bourbon is gonna cost like it's gonna cost like thousands of dollars per bottle. So if you're taking 3 years for a freaking vanilla plant, then it's probably intense in flavor. It's probably going to taste that good. It's going to taste as good as an aged anything. So they'll age a steak, like a prime rib steak, for a month and then charge $100 for it. So it's more than just alcohol. So 23 karat edible gold. This pure and edible gold creates a glimmering golden sparkle when mixed with the other ingredients. Oh, they mix the gold with the other ingredients? Why would you do that? I don't want to have gold in the middle of it. I just want it as a decoration. Gold probably doesn't taste good at all either. It probably doesn't taste bad. But it's like eating like paper. Whipped cream. A grass-fed cream infused with simple syrup of sugar and vanilla. Okay, well, it's just regular whipped cream then. You don't have to hype up your regular what is this, like Ready Whip that you got from the grocery store? Like, come on. Le Cremos Baldizon. Donkey caramel sauce. Donkey caramel sauce. Hell yeah, I want donkey caramel. I want donkey sauce. You fucking donkey. This rare sauce that is sweet and unique in flavor is made from Venezuelan cocoa, Piedmont hazelnuts, fresh donkey's milk, and cane sugar. Oh, that's why it's called donkey sauce. It's made from donkey's milk. What does donkey milk taste like? I'm kind of curious. I've had goat milk before. Goat milk's it's pretty good. It's a little stinkier than, you guys know, like stinky cheeses, right? It's like goat milk. Goat milk's a little stingier than cow's milk for sure. Venezuelan cocoa, Piedmont hazelnuts, fresh donkey's milk, and cane sugar for a caramel drizzle. Wait, how much caramel am I getting though? It looks like they hardly put any on. They gotta mix that in the milkshake too if they're gonna freaking. And then a Luxardo Gourmet Maraschino cherries, produced in Luxardo, Italy. These cherries are dense and chewy with a sweet tart flavor, made with prized sour Marasca cherries and preserved in the fruit's famed liquor. Ooh. Liqueur preserved cherries. Nice. Dense and chewy with a sweet tart flavor. Nice. So I guess with the milkshake, they because I watched the video for it. Yeah, here you can see. They put one cherry on top, right? It's like the cherry is like one of your exclusive ingredients, but they only give you one. So obviously I'm not going to have this milkshake by myself. I'm going to split it with somebody. But in order to share the experience, I would need to request a second cherry to be put on top of the milkshake, even if they charge me like an extra $10, which I'm sure they would. I don't want to have to split a cherry, but I don't want to experience something like that. That's not. I mean, they put the one cherry on there to make it look good, but I want a second cherry. Even if I was having it by myself, I would probably want 2 cherries, to be honest. In fact, they show this ingredients thing. They show 5 cherries, or 6 cherries here. They can put all the cherries in there. It's fine, unless they mix the rest of the cherries inside. Which honestly, the milkshake itself doesn't need that many cherries, to be honest. So looks very presentable in its ingredient form. But yeah, the donkey caramel drizzle. Yeah, it looks like they're not putting a whole lot on top of there, so you only get like a tiny bit of that. I would also probably want to request that the caramel is also mixed in with the vanilla shake, but I don't know if that would compromise the flavor. This guy looks like an older version of Jordan Slansky from Conan O'Brien. But yeah, anyway, that's serendipity. Anyway, I want to go here. I was watching Mr. Beast as well earlier this week. So, oh, look at that. Oh, those are nachos. Oh, I thought it was like a fruit cake. Yeah, they're nachos. They're just different colored chips. I don't get I don't get like why are there different colored chips? I've had different colored chips before. They just all taste the same. They just it's not like, oh, you get a blue drink and it tastes like blue, right? Like a blue Slurpee or something. No, these chips don't give that. It's not because the blue drink, actually tastes like blue. But these chips, why? Anyway, I'm so hungry. Holy crap! Just looking at this plate of nachos. I mean, this doesn't look any better than what I get at Denny's. Denny's has this. They have loaded nachos, zesty nachos, I think they're called. Anyway, it's like $8 for a full plate. It's a great deal for a restaurant, and it's a big one. It's like I would get super full after eating a full plate of those. So I like Denny's nachos. There are a lot of pictures of just regular stuff on here. I guess people go here not for the expensive stuff, but for the regular things. Oh, I wanna check out what the inside looks like. We're gonna go to all and then inside. That's how you trick the thing. Because I want to see. Apparently, like 4 o'clock and after is their peak time. Oh, it's one of these places where it's just a bunch of chairs. So there are no booths or anything. It's like just a giant cafe. I guess it's like an ice cream parlor. I guess that's what it is. So with a chandelier and all the decorations and stuff, it really looks like something pulled out of the Prohibition era. This is probably one of the places that was high in alcohol back then. It looks like an okay place to eat, but it looks, yeah, look at that. It just gets crowded. Ugh, disgusting. Too many people. Look at this white woman is eating with this black man. Or he looks black. He might just be very tan. Still. Interracial. Oh, they have an upstairs area too. Oh, God forbid. Too crowded. Too crowded. I would go on a. I would go here on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. That's when I would go. Tuesday at 2 p.m. One of the things that I'm thinking about when with all this stuff is I would have to call to ask when is your least busiest time. And then I would compare their answer with what Google says their least busiest time is, or least crowded time. Oh, it's no. I mean, this was taken right before COVID started, but still, look at that. Oh, disgusting! And they're all a bunch of chubby white people or chubby white women. Why? Why are there so many chubby white women in this store? Oh God. If their restaurant eating area is on the second floor, that's gonna cause some problems. I don't like going upstairs. Um, there's like a school desk here. What? Why was there a school desk in a restaurant? And it's two. I guess it's not a school desk. I don't know. It would be a cute place to eat at, but oh, there's just more seating up. I mean, if I get the whole second floor to myself, then I guess. But yeah, it looks pretty packed. Oh my God. Just flip the table and this person just goes over the stair railing. That's scary though. This mask. Oh, there's a second picture of that. Oh, thought I saw something there. It's during COVID. All the seats are too packed together. It's during the pandemic. It's 2021, and all the seats are packed together. Ugh, whatever. I hate when restaurants here were doing every other table. At least at the beginning, they were doing every other table. So people wouldn't be in close proximity of one another, which I liked because I don't want to be in close proximity of anybody anyway. I don't like sitting at a booth and then, right behind my head is the back of somebody else's head. I don't like that. I didn't like that before COVID, and I don't like it. I don't like it even more now. So because I could turn around and I'm staring at the back of somebody else's head, the person who's sitting in the booth next to me. I don't like that. Oh, they have a little like blocked off area. This is nice. A blocked off area. I guess if I'm getting the expensive stuff, I could actually probably request to be in this blocked off area. See, this is why I have to plan my freaking my endeavors in advance. Is because I'm not getting a $400 meal and then just eating it at one of these basic tables in the middle of everyone else. I'm not doing that. I want an area that's far off to the side or like in the back or in this little cubby like this, right? So I don't want anybody watching me eat. I don't want anybody I don't want anybody within like my peripheral vision, but also because I have anxiety. So, but yeah, this is why I have to plan out where I'm trying to think of how like what do you call it? How out of the way this specific seat is. But yeah, this is why I have to plan out all my freaking trips in advance, right? Not only to figure out what I want to order and the price of that and whether it's within my budget or not and whether it's available or not, but also the seating arrangements for stuff like this because I have to consider that because again, I don't like sitting near like, oh god, imagine you get to a restaurant like this that you've been planning and they seat you like right here in the middle of the floor, like with everybody with multiple tables full of people at all sides. Like, no, I'd walk out of the restaurant. Like, I would legitimately walk out of the restaurant if that's where they sat me. I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my first response. My first response would be, "Hey, can we get another seat somewhere else?" And then if they said no, then I'm like, okay, then I would be okay. You can cancel my reservation. I don't want to eat here. Then I'd walk out. So. And I've done that before. I've walked out of places before because they didn't have proper accommodations for me, and because I would specifically request for something and it'd be like no. I'd be like, okay, if you're saying no to me, then I'm saying no to you. I'm walking out, and they've looked at me with really weird looks as I'm walking out, but I don't give a shit because I'm not sitting in the middle of in the fucking whole place. I'm not doing that. Why are restaurants even designed like this in the first place? Who would think like, okay, this is a two-seater, right? I'm thinking romantic dates. Why would I bring a romantic date to sit here, right, where we get no privacy whatsoever, where what's this, 5 different tables full of people can just glance and watch us. Ugh, disgusting. I don't want their looking at me. I don't want their grubby eyes on my wife. Even if it's something like this, look at this. They have a table up here, and then like 2 inches away, they have a separate a 2-person table, and then 2 inches away from that, they have another table of 4. It's like, talk about packed. God. Anyway, this place had that table in that cubby or whatever, so that's where I would want to go. There's a ramen place in my area, but the thing is, right outside the restaurant, there's like an outdoor seating area, and I've actually, because I've gone there before, and I've contemplated asking like, hey, could we be served in this outside area, which isn't technically part of the restaurant, but I've actually seen before I saw a group of people out there eating. So it's not a part of the restaurant for that specific area. So no, this kind of looks like me, but it's not a specific, or it's not part of their restaurant. but I saw a couple eating their ramen bowls being served to them outdoors. So that's so I thought that was creative. So I was contemplating next time I go there, probably just to request eating outside, just to save myself from having to eat inside. Again, I would only go to this place, the Serendipity place, the for the expensive items, and then that's it. I wouldn't go here regularly, even if I lived in New York City. But yeah, New York City has some cool areas to eat. Oh, I got 3 stars out of 5. What did you guys not like about it? Let's read the top reviews. Good for what it is. Service was okay. Fun for kids. Portions are pretty big for main dishes. Fries were the best part and abundant. Ooh, do I get those expensive fries then? Serendipity expensive fries. Are $200 fries worth the money? Well, we'll see. I can order just a normal plate of fries. It's cheese. No, don't support NBC. It's fucking YouTube thumbnail. I don't give a shit about you freaking Ewan McGregor eating with a worried face on his. But looks like they're cheese covered fries with bits of white truffle on top, which sounds good. But it's probably the same cheese and truffle that they're putting in the grilled cheese sandwich, so it's not gonna be worth it. If people are saying their fries are good, then I'll order a thing of fries to go. I mean, technically, I could order all the expensive foods to go as well. Oh my gosh, just paragraph after paragraph. That other article I was reading had like a whole list, like in a bullet point format of what was included. Okay. Chipperbeck potatoes, which are blanched in a $500 bottle of 2006 Dom Perignon champagne. Okay, so just like the grilled cheese sandwich. He then rinses the fries with French champagne vinegar, which he says is a way to rinse off sugars and prevent overbrowning. Oh, you're supposed to rinse off your fries with vinegar? I could try that next time I make fries. Frying them in goose fat from France, simply because it's beautiful, crazy, and over the top. It has a lot of flavor. The fries are then sprinkled with truffle salt, topped with edible gold shavings, and served on a crystal plate with Mornay sauce, a locally sourced cream, and a trio of truffle cheeses. It's the best junk food I've had in my entire life. Have you guys heard of what foie gras is? So I believe the fat that he's using, he says it's used from goose fat from France. Goose fat from France is called foie gras. It's basically what the heck? Lindsay Hansing. Whatever. Foie gras is made from goose fat. It's actually illegal in the United States to produce foie gras. Fattened goose or duck liver, prized in French cuisine for its rich flavor and silky texture. So, apparently it's really good, and up until recently, it was considered like an expensive delicacy. But the reason why it's expensive is because of the process that's used to make it. What they do is they actually, and the reason why it's illegal in the United States and other countries, how they make foie gras is they artificially fatten up a goose's liver while the goose is still alive. So the goose is getting its liver bloated like to like a huge degree until it's like so big it's about to burst. And then they kill the goose and then they extract the liver from it. So that's what it is. So they're artificially bloating up and expanding and fattening the goose's liver, which obviously, if you guys know, like for humans, if you have liver problems, any slight like deviation in your liver can cause you immense pain and possibly death. So foie gras is cruel because they intentionally do that to these animals. Birds on foie gras farms don't have the ability to engage in natural behaviors like flapping their wings, preening themselves, or swimming. Oh yeah, that's right. They're force fed. Holy crap! And it's a PETA article, but it's actually true. So basically, they do this, and I don't know how okay it is to show this on stream, but if you guys can tell, they're taking the goose or the duck, and they're putting a tube down its throat, like into its mouth and down its throat, and they're force feeding this goose a lot more food than it actually needs, and they're just forcing it to grow food or to eat food a whole bunch until its liver expands. And then once its liver expands, then obviously they'll kill the thing. So this is how it is. You guys know like French ducks and stuff. Like France has a lot of like ducks and geese and whatnot. But on foie gras farms, this is what they're doing. They're force feeding these geese by a tube, and then fattening up their liver to the point of pain, and then they're killing the things for it. So, and that's what foie gras is. So I believe, I mean the production of foie gras is banned in America, but obviously, if you can still get, you need a license, I believe, as a restaurant in order to serve foie gras, and then of course it all has to be imported from France. So, oh, apparently, Creme de la Crepe in Huntington Beach has foie gras. Oh boy, Huntington Beach. Foie gras, here we go. Has a lot of sodium. 6 grams of fat. Oh, that's not that. Oh, 1 tablespoon of it has 6 grams of fat. Anyway, the French fries that this article was talking about, they said goose fat. So I believe it's actually foie gras that they're using. So, which, of course, if it's that kind of animal cruelty, it's banned everywhere, then it's gonna be expensive. Because it's gonna be rare, and you gotta import it from other countries and stuff. So, but yeah, there are several like expensive dishes that are served with foie gras, and if you don't know what foie gras is, when you order it, then it just sounds like some fancy French thing, right? So, but there's a lot of animal cruelty behind it. I do not care about the animal cruelty, especially since they've reduced it by a whole bunch, so it's only done in like France and other select countries. But and obviously, like, come on, guys, we eat meat anyway. Like, meat is still being produced and whatnot. So, yeah, it's cruel, and I personally don't want to participate in that practice. But if I'm gonna eat it if I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna try it once, and then that's it, right? It's not like foie gras is like a giant industry or anything. So, anyway, these French fries look really good. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just that cheese crusted with those truffle flakes on top. And then whatever this is, delicious. I don't know about $200 though. If it was $100, then maybe. But 200 is a bit much for something like this. So there are 200 pictures of the front of the store. That's wonderful. Okay, they separate the food into dessert, burgers, soup, steak, and salads. But this place has more than that. This place has waffles and pasta and all that sort of stuff. Anyway. Apparently the fries are good. A frozen hot chocolate was on par with a Wendy's frosting. Nice. They had one huge line outside, and there were people with and without reservations in that line. Eventually went inside to talk to someone that was very nice and said they would try hard to get us seated as close to our reservation time as possible. Otherwise, how long would we have waited in line with everyone else? Oh my god. People with reservations had to wait in line too. Oh, that's disgusting. They should have a table ready for you if you have a reservation. This was my middle child's requested restaurant on our New York trip, as he's a chocolate lover to the max. He was dying to try their frozen hot chocolate. We stopped for lunch and got chicken and waffles, BLT, the hot chocolate, and s'mores frozen hot chocolate. The food was okay. Highly recommended upgrading your fries to chili fries. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is normal or something that happened, but my son and I don't like mint. Both frozen hot chocolates have a strong mint flavor that we did not enjoy. Wish we could have tried it without the mint flavor. Well, maybe I should have looked it up. Vanessa, that wasn't from Vanessa. Came with my friend wanting to tick this off his New York City bucket list. Oh, your friend, huh? Store features in Serendipity if you haven't. Food was overpriced, but if you're pretty much here for the gimmick, the store is immaculately and overwhelmingly decorated. Cute destination spot could see how it'd really be fun for a girls' night out or a family with kids. Menus old diner style, da da da. The foot-long hot dog was a sight to behold. I probably ate. So, yes, but you can get a foot-long hot dog anywhere. Sunday, in fact, I could fuse 2 regular sized hot dogs together in a giant hot dog bun from the grocery store and get a foot-long hot dog. It's not that special. Anyway, apparently the 2 food items I want are good, so whatever, right? It's gotta go during a not popular time. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to call in. This isn't gonna be for a few years that I'm going here. Anyway, see, it's good that I'm reading the reviews about how it's a odd place. I'm not in Irvine. What else was I? Was I gonna look up something? I don't remember. There's the encoding overload message. Why would they do that? Oh yeah, did I show you guys the I Got Standards female calculator? So basically, this is okay, good. It's not laggy right now. basically this is what are the chances of finding the man of my dreams? This search uses surveys conducted by the United States Census Bureau. So basically, I've explained this guys to you guys a couple months ago when I first found it, but this is basically all these women out here being like, "Oh, I got standards. I want a tall guy who's at least 6 foot, and he's got to have this kind of income, and yada yada." Right? You know, all these standards for the women. So anyway, they can. It's become a meme at this point, right? That women only want tall dudes. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's say I'm a woman and I don't want a married man, because he's got to be all mine. And I want a dude who's between the ages of 20 and 30, who is any race, because I'm not a racist. Minimum height 6 foot, all right? Only 6 foot men, and they can't be obese. And their income, he's got to earn at least 50K a year, all right? And that's pushing on that lower limit, all right? A 6 foot dude in his 20s, anywhere in his 20s, which is the demographic of Tinder, by the way, who makes 50K a year because money's attractive too, all right? So a tall, not fat, slightly high earning, 50K isn't that much depending on where you are, dude in his 20s who's not married. Let's see what percentage of the male population fits those Tinder standards. 1.2%. 1.2%. That is 1 out of every 80 men between the ages of 20 and 30 meets the standards. This isn't the whole population. This is just taking people who are aged 20 to 30. How many people in their 20s are not married, at least 6 foot, and they aren't fat, and they earn 50K a year? 1%. 1%. The women going on Tinder want a dude who is in the top 1% of the male population. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. That is such a high standard. So basically, your delusion score is 4 out of 5. That's what it is right here. Right? This is because the meme is that the average woman isn't that, women want this. It's that the average woman thinks she deserves this. That's what the meme is, right? I've complained about this before, but the average woman thinks that she deserves a dude who is, this is the bare minimum for what I want. This dude has to earn a livable wage, and he has to be at least 6 foot tall, and he has to not be married to another chick. All right. Well, guess what, sister? You're not gonna find that. You're not gonna find that, right? It's like these women think, and it's the problem with Tinder, right? Because a dude who's at least semi-attractive, who hits all of these marks, is going to sleep around with a bunch of women, right? He's going to sleep with the average woman. But then the average woman has slept with a guy like this, and then she thinks that, oh, I'm not going to settle for anything less. Why does the average woman deserve the top 1% of men? And then you can think about it another way. Every woman thinks that they deserve this, or every woman who goes on Tinder thinks that they deserve this, right? Some plain looking, slightly chubby, basic bitch of a girl who has no hobbies or conversational skills or anything of interest or anything going for her. And mind you, a lot of these women don't want to cook or or clean the house or anything like that, because that's a part of the patriarchy. That's a man oppressing the woman, right? So she has no cooking skills or cleaning skills to go for her either, right? It's not a matter of cooking and cleaning all the time. It's a matter of being able to do those ever. So that's a lot of these women also don't have that. So what you guys are going to see in a lot in the next couple decades is these women who are my age and younger who are going on Tinder, and they want what is the top 1% of men. Obviously they can't all have that, because only the top 1% of women are getting the top 1% of men. What about the other 99% of women who don't get with one of these men? Well, they're going to have to settle for something less than their standards. And what's going to happen when they settle for less than their standards? They're going to find them unattractive. And they're going to find them unattractive, and it's going to be unfulfilling marriages and whatever, right? So, anyway, 6 foot, let's keep it there. Maybe she doesn't care about the income, right? I don't care if he's like some unemployed loser, right? Like I am. Oh boy. So this is basically my stand. This is basically me, right? Let's find out. No income necessary. Got to be 6 feet and not fat though. 6.4%. Now we're at a more acceptable range here. This isn't by any means fully acceptable, right? 6%, right? This still means that 94% of the female population will not get with a 6 foot guy. So, which apparently is being 6 feet and not married is apparent, and not obese is apparently a really rare trait that I am a part of, I guess. So it's, I am the top 6% of men, guys. Don't worry. Apparently, because I'm some unemployed loser who's, I'm nearly anorexic and I'm not married. But hey, at least I'm 6 feet tall, right? So, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, I'm in the top 6% of men. So, in the United States, in my age range. So, anyway, that's great. So for me, that's great. But that means 94% of women aren't going to get the tall guy of their dreams. So that's gonna serve as a problem. See, your cat lady scores only 3 out of 5 if that's what you want. Anyway, I'm not just 6 foot. I'm 6'2" actually. So, and let's narrow the age range down. Or well, nah, we're comparing it with the results we've been getting. So, I'm 6'2", 1.4%. Wonderful. I am taller than, you put me in a room of 70 men, and I will be the tallest guy among them. So, according to the statistics, so 70 guys, and I'm gonna be the tallest person out of them. So, as long as I stand up straight, then I will be. So, anyway, I'm in the top 1% of men for being 6'2" and not fat and not married. So, I'm still some unemployed loser who talks weird, but apparently I'm still in the top 1% of all men. So, just because of my height. Wonderful. 4 out of 5. If you think you deserve me, I guess, then you are 4 out of 5 delusional. How about when I start earning an income? If I work full time, I will get $30K a year. That's at minimum wage in California. 0.5%. Wow. So once I get a job, I'm going to technically be better than I'm going, in a group of 200 guys, I will be the best one or the most desirable one, I suppose. So, doesn't make any sense because, whatever, right? So, some of these, I don't doubt the validity of the search, but it's not. I'm 27 years old. Let's bump it up because I'm only growing older. So 27 to 32, no income. Still pretty at 1.6%. So yeah, I guess it's unemployed. I'm just tall, and I am up there. So anyway, this is a great ego boost for a dude. So it's great, but yeah. Anyway, so this for guys, or I mean, this is for this is in regards to guys, girls. Anyway, so girls looking for a dude who's 6'2" and not married and not obese, but she doesn't care about anything else, will have to fight against everyone else for the top 1% of the human population. So that's feels good for me because I am the top 1% of human population. Although if I don't exclude married or obese, that 1.6 will turn into 3.2, so it doubles. So half of dudes who are married and or fat no, half of the guys who are as tall as me are either married or fat or both. That's what this means. So, I actually know quite a few guys who are tall who are married. So, looks like they found by this age. So it looks like they found a good woman who probably appreciates them for more than their height. Because guys don't want a girl to like them for specific artificial qualities. Guys want a girl who's going to be loving. So, and all those girls on Tinder who have slept around with 50 dudes in their time, and who have these superficial standards as, oh, he has to be 6 feet tall. He has to have a certain amount of income. Those kind of women aren't going to be loving. So they're not gonna love their husbands, even if they get their ideal man. They're not going to love the guy. They're not going to be a loving, caring girlfriend or wife to them because it's based off these standards that they put. So fulfilling standards and being in love are completely different things. Which is why a site like this doesn't bode well for humanity, but as a whole, but it doesn't mean all hope is lost for dudes who don't fill this criteria, right? So let's bump the minimum height down to. I've seen guys complain that they're 5'8", so let's put in 5'8", and all of a sudden you have the majority of the population. Okay, so geez, that extra 6 inches matters a lot. So even dudes who are unmarried and unobese. Oh, that many dudes are fat, really, or married? Down to earth. let's keep the fat people in here. It looks like half of them are fat and half of them are married. Okay, so an unmarried man who is at least 5'8", he is allowed to be fat. That's 40% of the population. 5'8" is short though. I've met dudes who are 5'8" and they're like, I feel like I'm towering over them. Honestly, it feels really awkward for me. Sometimes I don't like being tall. Sometimes I think like, man, I wish like the person I was talking to and I are the same height, but it's because I'm lanky. I'm like thin. If I worked out and I ate a lot of meat, then I would be able to feel better. But I always thought about going otter mode. Otter mode. otter mode's kind of like this, where you know, you're kind of thin still, but you're very well toned. So, which I mean, ideally, right? If I could press a button and get it, then I would. But obviously, this takes a lot of work, and that's a lot of work that I am not willing to put in. So, yeah, what a shame. What a shame. Let's see if anyone's compiled a list. Nope. He went to the ramen shop. I would think he or someone else would have compiled a list of all the places that he's gone and which ones were his favorite, but I guess not really. Okay, let's see here. Worth it. Is this just a list of all Japanese restaurants? How do you know where to eat? So we asked BuzzFeed's community to tell us. Oh boy, oh boy. Sushi. Daiwa Sushi. You know, if I was living in Japan, I would consider this list. But I'm not gonna have time for that. This looks so good. Oh my god. I believe that's eel. I'm not too sure. I haven't had the orange stuff in a while. I don't have it that often. Noodles. Oh boy. Oh my god. I've talked about skemmen before. But skemmen's so good. Skemmen in my area. Oh boy. All those places. Buena Park. Fountain Valley. But yeah, basically they give you like this really thick broth. And then just like a bowl of noodles. So most of the time it's miso broth, which I've never had it with miso broth before, but I guess it's good. This stuff is like $15 a serving, so I'm not like too keen on you know, like experimenting that much, but anyway, so yeah, you pick up the noodles and then you dip it into the broth for a second, and then you pick it back up and you eat it, and oh my god, because the noodles are fully cooked, but then the broth it's like steaming hot, and so that steaming hotness gets onto the noodles as well as, you know, the other flavors and whatnot, and you just eat that and oh my god, it's so amazing. It's like it's way different. It's way better than what you would think this is, right? It's like, oh, you're just dunking the noodles in and eating it. Oh, how great can that be, or whatever. It's life changing. It's a life changing experience. So it really is. Oh god, I want skemmen. There's a restaurant in my area that used to serve skemmen, but they stopped serving it. So I think it wasn't getting ordered that much. It's tough because people know ramen, but they don't know about skemmen, and I didn't know about skemmen until I saw it at that restaurant. So I need food. Holy crap! Was it 2 o'clock? Ken Follett's The Pillars of Earth. It's gonna be my next book. after I find time to read again. Oh, you're unemployed. You have all the time in the world. You stupid. No. There we go. And then you could dip the pork in there. Sometimes they serve it with the meat in. Sometimes they serve it on the side. They serve the egg on the side too. So if you want to pick up your egg and dip it in there, the chopsticks, of course. It's great. You can't get much better than this. In fact, I do want to try a couple tsukemen places when I'm in Japan. BuzzFeed. Oh, why am I taking pictures? Or why am I in pictures? I made a giant spreadsheet of every dish. Awesome. I knew someone would do it for BuzzFeed. How do you filter? How do you filter on here? View? Remove filter. Filter views. Okay. Oh wait, New York City was at the top. Wait. Oh my god. Holy crap. Okay, it just loaded everything. Ah, whatever. Oh, I just needed to click on the fucking city. Ah, whatever. Okay, so in New York, they tried. This is gonna lag up my computer. Why would he? They're filtered by price point, by city, and then by price point. Okay. He went to Tetsu's. That's right. Tetsu's rise and fall. They're closed. Damn it. It's this sushi, it's this like famous sushi chef who was making like this modern fusion between Japanese and American food. he had this like special burger that he had like this custom skillet made in order to make. It looked really good, but I guess they're closed. Ha ha ha. LMAO is so funny. I'm pissed. Oh, the lout. Malaysian, Singapore, Thai cuisine. So this is another fusion place, but this place had really good curry, I believe. Yeah, yeah, they have this. They have this silly bread. It's just like it's that kind of bread. It's like it's sort of like pita bread, except except this is like really thin. It's one of those ones where you make it like really thin and then you slap it on like the inside of. There's like this metal pot that has like a bunch of coals in it, or like this metal container that has a bunch of coals on fire in the inside of it, and then you put it in, and then you slap it on the wall of the inside of the metal thing, and then it cooks and it bubbles up, and then like a minute later you take it out. It's like one of those. Anyway, this is like really light and fluffy and airy, but still it's got that crisp bready flavor to it. But then you dip this in the little sauce, and then it's apparently it tastes amazing. It looks amazing, but it's like $8 for just this one little piece of it with the sauce. It's a little pricey, but oh, that's cute. The guy's got his butt showing. Oh, looks good. Oh, it looks so good. Oh my god, it looks so good. I'm just here eating. Oh, that looks delicious. I'm just here eating a protein bar, a birthday cake flavored protein bar, and just looking at all this delectable cuisine. Look, it's got sprinkles on it. It's got sprinkles on it. Is that egg on the bottom? Maybe. I'll have to eat the egg. Well, the chicken looks good, or the fried meat looks good. Hmm. What a cute little thing. You're paying double for the fact that there's a green tent over it. For the presentation. It's one of those places that closes. It would still be a good lunch spot for the weekdays. Wow, they're open for an extra 15 minutes on Friday compared to the rest of the week. In the same sense that the sea navigates traders and travelers from all over the world to Malaysia, at the restaurant, they'll navigate your palates through an adventurous journey of flavors through our cuisine. Wow! Oh my god, what an adventure we're going to be navigated on. Are, is that why the word cuisine so closely resembles the word cruise? Cruise and cuisine? Because it's the same navigating, except instead of navigating across the waters on a cruise, you're navigating across your flavor palette in a cuisine. Oh my god. Wow, it's so quirky. What a revelation. If you have a food allergy, please inform your server before ordering. Let me browse a menu. Discover. I would love to discover. Okay, roti. Oh, it's loading. Okay. Guess I shouldn't be clicking a bunch. $10 for that little piece of bread. Why are you gay? I need to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Soups? These soups don't look that great. A curry laksa? What did that BuzzFeed list say? $15 for the curry laksa, but here they're only charging $7 for it. Oh, 18 for the for a large. Salads, basic ass salads. Appetizers, ooh, chicken and peanut sauce. Oh my god, food. So wait, both the items that they got on the Worth It episode were considered appetizers? Okay. This looks good. Ooh, crispy tofu. Sounds good. Curry puffs. This place is expensive. I'm gonna look at these delicious curry puffs while eating my multivitamins. I can do that with the cap putting them in my mouth because I'm the only one who's eating these multivitamins. All the stuff looks pretty good. I don't know about the price. $18 for some calamari? I don't think so. At least they put their full menu with the prices. I do appreciate that. I don't have to look on Yelp for a recent picture of somebody else taking a picture of that menu. That's stacked. Do I have to pick apart the crab itself? That's what I don't like. When they serve you crab and lobster at the restaurants, they'll give you like a full freaking crab or like a full freaking lobster. And it's just cut up, but the shell is still on it. And sometimes they'll even, and so you have to pick apart the shell in order to get to the meat. That's too inconvenient. I'm in a restaurant to be served, not to do work myself. And sometimes they have the audacity of seasoning it. They'll season it, put sauce on it or whatever. But guess what? It's not shelled yet, or it's not deshelled yet. So they're putting seasoning and sauce on the shell of the crab or the lobster, just like here. They're putting all the stuff on the shell, so you can't eat the shell. You can't eat the shell. So why would you put the seasoning on the shell? What do you want me to pick it apart and eat and get the meat out myself and then dip it in the shell, or like lick the seasoning off the shell while I'm taking a separate bite of the meat? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, but yet like a lot of places do this. So stupid. I hate them. I hate them. Oh, it might be soft-shelled crab, which is even worse because then you have to eat the shell too. You guys ever have soft-shell crab before? It's the worst thing ever. Soft-shelled crab is crab, pieces of crab, but it still has a shell on. But you're supposed to eat the shell. It's soft-shelled, so technically you can eat it, right? Why would I eat the shell? Why would I eat the shell? That's like, it's tough. It's really hard to eat the shell. I like fish and fish products and crustaceans and stuff. I like eating them because the meat is very tender and the meat is very soft, so it's easy to eat. But if I'm gonna have to fight through an entire crab shell, like my god, might as well have just gone to the beach and picked up a crab out of the ocean myself and then just started chomping on it before it's even dead. Like that's essentially what you're doing with this stuff. It's ridiculous. Why would anyone in God's name enjoy this activity? Anyway, their other dishes look good. And yeah, there's a stupid crab there. It's charging $100 for it. $100 for it. You know, I can get a crab from the grocery store for like $10. And at least I'm in the comfort of my own home before I have to perform labor to deshell the thing. And I can choose to season it after I've gotten the shell off. What is wrong with you? Stupid. I would say the stupid game, but I remember I'm talking about people in real life. So even worse. Anyway, this stuff looked good. The nasi lemak looked pretty good. Yeah, see, soft shell chili crab. I guarantee what you're seeing isn't a fried part, it's the shell. It's the shell. And they expect you to eat it with the shell. Unbelievable. And they're charging you $35 for the pleasure. Unbelievable. A curry. Ooh, Malaysian curry, that looks good. As long as it doesn't have soft shell crab in it. Coconut milk? Hell yeah. Tamil style yellow curry with Malaysian and Indian descendants or influences. Medium spicy coconut milk, okra, eggplants, onions, tomato, curry, and mild curry. Wow. A green curry. They don't have the prices on those. Anyway, I want to go here just for the curry, to be honest. Oh, they don't put the price tag on this one, huh? Nah, well, whatever. The Ultimate Curry Laksa. Featured on BuzzFeed's worth. Oh, this is no fishball. Oh, that's right, they do have a fishball. Oh, it's a vegan-free request to not put a fishball in it. Featured on BuzzFeed's worth. Well, that's the one I would get then. I do want a curry laksa. I've never had curry laksa before. I know I don't need to go to New York to have curry laksa, but if I'm in New York for that grilled cheese anyway, then might as well. Cookie, cheesecake, pizza. The expensive curry is from Janoon. Are they still open? My god. We are open. Oh, thanks for telling me, man. Oh, this place looks luxurious. Look at that. Look at that smoking glass. Oh, well, give it a minute. Alright, here we go. Look at that smoking glass as they pour. The delicately strained liquid. Ooh. That's a drink I would try. I'm not a big alcohol guy, but I would definitely try this just for the just for the what would you call it? The antiquity of it. Yeah. See, this place looks luxury. I mean, don't come during a crowded time, but child policy. They have a child policy. Ooh, now that looks good. Oh, it's like a glass. It's like one of those glass things that you take off, and then it's like the whole thing comes off. That's like a special dish, but it's been steaming in that. Ooh, look at that luxury! You get a freaking you get like the Queen of England silver like antique pot with your soup. That's awesome. Oh, look at that. That looks good. Ooh, that looks so good. God, talk about high class. Yeah, probably drop out to a couple $100 just being here. Anyway, the location. They have lunch. Okay. Not that big of a lunch time period, but probably get there early and they'll probably accommodate you. Children 10 years and older in the bar dining room and 13 years or older in the main dining room. Dress code is smart casual. Please refrain from wearing shorts, tank tops, and flip flops. Someone go to a $200 restaurant just for wearing flip flops. Dude, if I was a millionaire, I totally would. And I lived in New York City. Like, maybe not flip flops, but you know, I want slip on shoes. That'd be nice. Slip on shoes. Smart casual. Smart casual is just a basic. It's like what I wear normally. It's just like button up t-shirts with a nice jeans. So something like this for the dudes, where it's just, yeah, this guy's got it's a little small, but this guy has a nice little button up with a nice pair of pants and a decent pair of shoes. So all stuff that I technically own. So these women are dressed the same. It's a button up shirt. Okay. Don't necessarily need a button up shirt, but I'm sure a dress would be nice. It would be fine, like a casual dress. When a restaurant has a dress code, that's how you know. That's how you know, for sure. So, of course, I'm gonna get looks at a fancy restaurant like this because I do not look the demographic that is supposed to be going to these restaurants. Anyway, what did they get here? What am I looking at Janoon for? They got the butter pepper garlic shrimp, the Shahi lamb shank, and the drunken Shahi turkra. I don't know what any of that is, but sounds good. Yeah, I would go here just to go here, to be honest. Prestige lunch Prixfia. 3 courses for $45. For a fancy, a rancy restaurant. For a fancy restaurant, that's not too bad. $45 for 3 courses. And you can pick your three too. That's awesome. So an appetizer with 2 main dishes. Very nice. Served with basmati rice and naan. For sure, for sure. For real, for real. Ba 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 ba. I'm a zoomer. I don't know what any of this means. I would have to look on Yelp, to be honest. They do have roti. Accompaniments. Anyway, those freaking the oh, they have another drink. The oh, that looks good. I don't know what that is, but it looks good. The the ribs in the smoking cauldron looks pretty good. Truffle topped, just complete like mud dish filled with goop. Hell yeah, that looks pretty good. Ooh, nice. With a little orange peel on top, like a drink. This is the kind of thing though. This freaking like weird African dish thing. This is the kind of thing that you don't even think about it. You think, oh, that looks pretty, and then you just dip your fork in, get whatever you can, and then just put it in your mouth. Right? You don't even think about it. You don't know. We don't know what kind of stuff this is. All that I know is that this is truffle on top, which is expensive. I don't know what this is. What any of the other stuff is. I don't even know where this is on the menu. What was that, salmon? Who knows? What are these green things? Are those even edible? Who knows? But you dip your fork in, and you take a bite, and you don't worry about what kind of stuff you're putting in your mouth, and then you chew it, and you think, do I like it or do I not like it? That's what you think, right? You don't do anything else. A 3 course meal is $90 per person. I know it's $200. It's gonna end up being $250 with the drink and the fees and all that. It's fine. $250 to go to a place called Janoon. It's a fancy restaurant with a dress code that doesn't let in children. I mean, it's gonna be pretty good. So, of course, this is the kind of place where you need to bring your ID to even like sit down. So, I mean, it was whatever, but they have just food, I guess. Chef's tasting menu, 6-course meal, 125 per person. Available Tuesday through Thursday for dinner service. Whole table participation required. A mango sphere with coconut milk? What the hell? These look like very basic dishes. I want to have this. I want to have like one of those ones where it's like a multi-course meal and they bring out each course one after the other. That'd be nice. Confit duck leg quiche. You guys ever have duck before? Oh, duck meat is so good. Oh my god, it's my favorite meat. It's my favorite meat more than pork or beef or chicken. Duck. Duck is so good. It's so tender. It's so tender, but it tastes a little gamey. So good. I got duck every day. You put duck on any one of my meals. Oh, fantastic. Freaking tastic. There's actually a Vietnamese place nearby me that serves duck. I don't remember where I've had duck before, but I've been wanting to get it. I just never remember about it. Or I just never think about it. Cricket. I'm sure it's not an actual cricket. Chiku mousse. Parley G cake. Coconut grass and guava. Oh, okay, so it's a mousse dish. All right. Mousse is a dessert. It's not the meat of a moose. You silly gooses. You silly gooses. Do I need to bring up that gif again, huh, guys? You guys all thought I was talking about moose like the moose. Like the moose. Gallery. Here we go. I like this. I like how the left side of their website interface just stays there. So it's not like necessarily in the way. Yeah, gallery. Oh, it looks pretty private too. If I'm paying like if I'm gonna be paying like $250 for 2 people, it better be a freaking private, enjoyable setting or experience. We're not sitting in this bar area. This glass actually it looks good, but I'm thinking like, okay, half the reason why this drink looks good is because of the background. Although it does look like it has a little tree growing inside of the glass, so that's pretty novel. Hope their menu has pictures on it because I want to see. Ooh, it's like a business executive room. You know that like if they get a party of people to fill up this room, they're making at least like $3,000 off of just this one group of people. Whoever is the waiter or waitress for them is making like $600 off a tip for serving this one group of people. You know that. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. It's a little paddle board with a little ball. It's like what's that game? Cricket. Is that why this dish is called cricket? This is the dessert that I was just reading. It's the chiku mousse with the Parle G cake and the coconut grass and guava. That's what this is. This is that, and it's called cricket because it's a cricket. It's the sport cricket where they take the little cricket battle, and they hit the. It's like golf for like disabled people. That's what cricket is, but in England it's a national sport. So that's what cricket is. So anyway, it's modeled after cricket. Aw. There's coconut grass to top it off. It looks cool. All these dishes look really cool. It's like I'm sure this place is at least like 80% just the aesthetics of it and 20% the actual quality of the food that you're being served. So I can tell because they do try to make everything fancy, but it's within within your price range, right? It's like if you're going to New York City on a vacation, then dropping $250 on a fancy restaurant isn't that bad. I mean, you gotta think if you're going on a vacation anywhere, you're gonna be spending at least $1,000 anyway. So if you're going to a place's like really good place, then for just a fraction of that, then that's totally fine, right? Just get the cheaper hotel, or just don't go to Coney Island or whatever. I don't know, right? I guess it's priorities, right? I prioritize good tasting food in fancy restaurants. Other people would prioritize going to the theme park and just getting a hot dog from the hot dog stand there, right? So it's different priorities. So I, mean, I don't blame people who want to go to the Coney Island theme park. Just it doesn't look that great compared to like Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland or something. So or my county fair even. So ooh, this looks good. All this looks so good. Oh my god. They don't let you. God damn. You can't. Just whatever. Whatever. You guys see the food. You guys see the food. It's good. It looks good. It looks good. All right. It's all. It looks. It looks good. What is it? I don't know. Why would you need to know what the food is before you put it in your mouth? Who cares, right? The restaurant says it tastes good. You're paying $100 a person anyway. Just eat the damn thing, and you're gonna like it. It's like, like who needs to know? I hear people like my dad was one of these people who's like, oh, you got to be adventurous to try new foods. It's like you don't gotta be adventurous. You just gotta trust that they're not gonna serve you bad food. It's like if you're eating something at like a restaurant, like yeah, if I go to the grocery store and I see a weird ingredient, I'm probably not gonna like it. But if I go to a restaurant and they sell me something, then they have to sell me a good product. Or it's like they're not, and, obviously I'm gonna look at the Yelp reviews beforehand to make sure that hey, is this food actually good? And they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's good. Try this thing. I'll be like, okay, I'll try this thing. I don't know you or what your sense of taste is, Mr. Reviewer, but you recommend something, I'll taste it. Right? It's like, who cares? Like, honestly, who cares? Right? It's like, and I've eaten things before based off of Yelp recommendations that haven't been the best. It's not the amazing experience that they said it would be. It might have not even been worth the money. But it wasn't a bad thing, and I'm glad I tried it. I will never have it again, but I'm glad I tried it, right? This fancy restaurant, I'm never going here again. Why would I ever go here again? Why would I ever go here a second time? But if I'm going here one time, might as well try the food, right? Who cares what it is? Do I need to know what it is? Put it in my mouth. I'll put it in my mouth the first time blind. I'll enjoy the flavor. And then I'll ask, hey, what is this? This is really good. What is it? And they'll describe it to me. And then I'll take a second bite. And then I'll compare the flavors that I'm having with the things that they said. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't know coconut could taste that good. I didn't know that guava tasted like this. I didn't know that durian could taste like this and I would actually like it. I don't know, right? Whatever they're talking about. I didn't know that this flavor existed in the world, right? It's like you just, you look at this and it's just like, here's like 8 different delicious dishes that you could have. Not, oh, this thing, I don't know if I'll like this because it looks dark, because it looks like a dark green mush. It's like, no, who cares, right? You think about consomme soup, or consomme soup, and it's like it looks like a clearish amber liquid, but then you drink it and it's like the most flavorful thing in the world. And it's like you could have never judged that based, you could have never judged its like intense complex flavor palette based off of just looking at the fact that you have what's essentially red water in a cup for consomme soup. But then you drink it and it's like this complex array of flavors that you would have never known just by looking at it. So you can't just, so there's so many foods out there that you can't, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? You can't judge the food by its appearance. You can say it looks good or it doesn't look good or whatever, but you still put it in your mouth and you try it, right? It's like, you don't have to be adventurous for that. You just have to be willing. So anyway, my dad was always like, oh, you sure are adventurous, Big Pasta. You just out here, every restaurant we go to, you're trying new foods. It's like, yeah, why would I go to a new restaurant and then get like a hot dog and French fries, or get like the chicken nugget kids meal or whatever? No, I want whatever their number one specialty is at that restaurant. That's what I want. Or if they have multiple, then I'll try one this time and another one the next time. It's like I don't have to be adventurous for that. It's like if I don't like it, then I'll just have a microwave meal at home. It's like, but it's a very rare chance that I'm not gonna like something. So I don't know. I guess that's just me. I guess I'm not necessarily a picky eater, but I appreciate good flavors. So again, I'm not a picky eater. The only things I don't like are durian fruit, which durian fruit should not even exist on this planet, to be honest. And corn. I don't really prefer corn. And again, I'll eat like a sweet cornbread, like that's totally fine, or like a cream of corn soup. I'll eat it. I won't necessarily enjoy it that much, but I'll eat it. I won't eat a whole corn. I won't order a whole corn based dish, right? Because I don't care for the flavor of corn. But what else don't I like? I don't like grape artificial flavoring. And I don't like cherry artificial flavoring. Yeah, grape and cherry artificial flavoring. Regular grapes and regular cherries I like. Regular cherries are okay, I guess. But regular grapes are pretty good. I just don't like the artificial flavoring because it reminds me of medicine. Um, so the artificial flavoring for those, corn, just any corn in any form. Um, yeah, those are really the flavors that I don't really care for. So, what happened? Is this what's going on? Encoding overload for uh, turn down video settings or use a faster encoding preset. I don't know what you mean by that. Whatever. Maybe I have to get a previous version of OBS. Uh, Encoding overload. Is it done? Is it done? Or is it gonna... Yep, it pops up as soon as I shake my head again. So it just can't process the change in the change in visual. Oh, whatever. Anyway, so all this stuff looks great. My stream is working alright. It's not as bad as it was on Sunday, so. Anyway, let's keep looking. Oh, I don't need the lot anymore. I'll close that. Okay. Let's keep looking. Those look good. Ooh, those look really good. There's a little tray with all of your God, what is it? What's the ones that Starbucks sells? The cake pops. Yeah, the cake pops from Starbucks. It's just like a tray of four different looking cake pops. That looks good. What are the flavors? Who freaking knows, right? But they all look good. I'm assuming that the pink one's strawberry, and the green one is like a green tea. Well, that's about it. Maybe one must be mango, and then the fourth one, I mean, the one on the right, who knows what that is? But they all look like little popsicles. That's cute. It's really cute. Imagine, like, you get a course, you go to a restaurant, and you're like, oh, just surprise me, right? That's basically what a 3 course or a 6 course meal is. You just basically like, oh, just surprise me. And they're like, okay. And so they'll just bring out various dishes that they think will taste good with each other, and you get surprise after surprise, and then for dessert you just get handed one of these things where it's just a little tray of like 4 bite-size little desserts on it. It's so cute. It's so cute. What a great way to end off a meal. You're not thinking about the money. You're not thinking about how, oh, this was kind of weird, or you're not thinking about, oh, it's whatever else. You're just thinking about, I liked that last dish. Let's see what the next one is, right? And then you get this, and it's cute. So this looks good. I don't know what this is. I think it's like some form of. I think it's like coconut milk in there, with like pecans and other little grain goodies in there. It looks good. It looks like the fancier version of like one of those cereal bars, like you guys know they're turning like regular cereal like cinnamon toast crunch and Fruit Loops and stuff um into like granola bars. But it's not a granola bar. It's a sugary milky bar with Fruit Loops in it or whatever. So anyway, they're pretty good. This looks like the fancier version of one of those, to be honest. Ooh, that looks good. It's a roast. I mean, it looks okay. I'm not particularly too fond of roasts, just because I've eaten them a lot. The meat is I mean, if depending on how it's done, the meat might be a little chewy. And I don't prefer chewy meat because ever since I was a kid, I've had a hard time with chewy meats. So like steak, a steak has to be really well cooked for me to be able to eat it. So, but yeah, the sauce looks good. So I'd still eat it, right? Maybe not the whole thing, but still eat it. Dip each piece in the sauce and just eat that, and hope that the meat's good enough to dissolve in your mouth because it better because it's a restaurant. I mean, I could always say to the person like, "Hey, I want dishes that are easy to eat because I have bad teeth," right? And then I could smile at them and they'll see my missing teeth and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we won't give you any roasts or steak." Oh, that's good for me. Yeah, I don't need a steak. This drink looks good. This drink looks like a peach or like a mango soft drink. So it looks pretty nice. But of course, it's gonna have alcohol in it. So they don't put too much alcohol in the drinks at restaurants, which I think is a little unfortunate. But so it's basically just like a sweet drink with like a hint of alcohol. I mean, so it's whatever. I don't know why they don't like restaurants. This one looks good. This little truffle thing, where it has like little things of truffle and it's just like orange mush on the bottom. Fantastic. And it looks like the little leaves are growing out of the mush too. This looks really cute. So really like this one. So I really want to eat that. Oh, they had outdoor seating. Oh god, it's on the sidewalk in front of their restaurant. I don't know about that, honestly. I don't know about being on the sidewalk in New York City eating outside. Honestly, going to New York, it's gonna be a struggle just to. Oh, whoops. It's gonna be a struggle just to go to just to go out on the sidewalk in the first place, especially if I'm not by myself. Like if I'm by myself, I'll probably take like my electric skateboard or something, or I'll buy one of those like, or I'll rent one of those bikes, those electric bikes to like get around, or the scooters. I'll do that. But this looks good. Doesn't look like much, but it looks good. In like a 6 course meal, one of these as the courses would be pretty delectable. So what is it? Who freaking knows? But it has a nice swirl of sauce on the plate. So whatever it is, you can just if you don't like it, you just dip it in the sauce. Whatever. My webcam keeps breaking. What is this? Why does this keep breaking? Oh, whatever. It's not breaking for long, so. Hey, there's their smoked ribs. I think they're barbecue ribs. Anyway, the presentation looks cool, so it makes you want it. It makes it look a little bit tastier. And, you know, if you're if it takes a if a good presentation is gonna make it taste better, then by all means. Wow, this thing keeps freaking breaking. Okay, something with my phone. My phone vibrates every single time the connection is lost, and then it goes up again. This looks good. A little too much ice in this, but I think it is for decoration. And they include one blackberry. I got a thing of blackberries that I was eating. Blackberries are alright. It's not. I would not recommend eating a bunch of blackberries at a time, but like one is fine, I guess. This is like a little blue, like, oh, is that a lamp? It's like a little blue lamp on top of the drink, like shining down on it. That's a cool aesthetic. And the little foam on top of the drink, nice. It's like my nitro infused Pepsi because it has foam on the top. Another nice drink. A lot of these drinks look like very pure. Ooh, yeah, this one with the smoky. I would request this. I would ask if I'm at the restaurant. They'd be like, "Oh, what do you want to drink?" And I would request like, "Hey, what's that one on your website that like it's smoky when it pours in?" And they'll probably be like, "Oh, it's like this 80 proof whiskey or whatever," which I'm totally fine drinking. Right? It's like, God, what are some whiskey drinks? This looks exactly like an old fashioned. Yeah, this looks like an old fashioned, which I wouldn't I don't know if I would order an old fashioned because I can just make those at home. I don't know if I'd order an old fashioned from a restaurant. So I mean, if I'm in the mood for an old fashioned, I guess I've never had an old fashioned before, honestly, but it is something I can make when I was looking up how to make cocktails. Anyway, this looks really good. It's like a little three-piece thing. It's like an actual cereal bar over here. And then it's God knows what this is. It's a freaking cork. It's a cork that's turned upside down and has a miniature Reese's Pieces on top. And then this is just basically like a smoothie for ants. So fantastic, fantastic. You know, you get one bite of each flavor basically. So it's cute. It looks like a nice restaurant. It looks very like or I guess like I would use the word intimate, although that doesn't make it sound nice. They do have a bar area. I guess you could come here just to go to the bar. Which if I lived in the area, I wouldn't mind doing if they make good drinks. But they have this sectioned off outdoor area. See, this is where I would want to sit for sure. Because inside, you know, you're around people and all that. But out here, you can you're they are specifically squaring away each table in separation of the other tables. So that's I think this is built with privacy in mind, and you it does look like you can actually close these gates. Although I don't know if they would close the gates during business hours, but still, it looks like very closed off. So I wouldn't want to sit in this bar dining area though. This looks a little too much. But like here, probably be fine. I was in a restaurant with somebody. I was at a sushi restaurant in my area. Why did I go there? I don't remember why. I think I saw some good pictures on Yelp. But anyway, I went with my buddy, and it was just the two of us, and we went, and it was crowded, and we asked for a table, and they're like, "Oh, the only table we have is back here," and so they went all the way to the back. We went all the way to the back. It's right across from the kitchen area. So you can hear the hustle and bustle. You know, you can hear the cooking in the kitchen. You can hear you can hear and see the hustle and bustle of the waiters moving in and out of the kitchen with plates of food. And the worst part was because those two were a very big disturbance. But the worst part was it was designed like this, but the tables were a lot closer to each other. So literally, it was my buddy, my buddy, and I were sitting across from each other, sharing this one little table space, and then right next to us on the same table, it was just one giant. It was just this one really long table. There, you know, so on the space on the table right next to us was another group of people. It was a couple, and so I sat next to the dude on the couple, and my buddy sat next to the girl. And you know, my buddy and the girl were both sharing. It was a booth seat. At least on my end, me and the guy had different chairs, but the on the booth part, it was all the same one long booth, right? The cushions and everything. You guys have been to restaurants before, you know what a booth is. So it was the same booth seat, just really long. And so my buddy had to sit next to this girl, and they were like, I mean, they were like, if my buddy swung their arm this way, they would hit the girl in the face. That's how close they were. So, or you know, like that. If they swung their arm to the side, they would hit the girl next to them. So that's how close. And I could do the same with the guy in his own chair next to me. So that's how close it was, and we were all sharing this one long table, and it was like that. We were at the end of the table, so I kind of thank God for that. But otherwise, because the couple next to us had us on their right side, and then another group of people on their left, and so they were kind of like in that or whatever. So it was a very close space, and we technically had to share the same table as them. And then my buddy, the people in the booth seating of this arrangement, they were technically sharing the same full length booth. So it was really bad. It was really bad. So it was about as close as, like, if you go to a normal restaurant like a Denny's or something, and you sit at a booth, right? It's a four-person booth, right, with one table and two sides to it. Each side can seat two people. It would be like that, but you went with somebody, and then there were two strangers sharing that whole booth arrangement with you. That's what it was like. It was terrible. It was such a small space. It was like the restaurant was maybe like the restaurant seating area was maybe like 3 times the size of my room. That's it. For a restaurant that sat like 60 people on it. It was so crowded and so packed. The sushi was good, but I didn't but half the time I'm distracted by the close proximity that my buddy and I are in compared to the other people. And this is, we didn't plan out our trip here. We just saw a couple pictures of the place and decided to go. So that was the consequence of poor planning, because if I had any worse anxiety, or if my buddy had any worse anxiety, then there's no way, right? It's like, panic attack city in that kind of a close space or whatever. So anyway, this restaurant, it reminds me of that ordeal, except the tables are actually properly spaced apart, I guess. I still wouldn't want to drop a lot of money going to a restaurant that is this where you're this close to other people. I want at least the illusion of being separated from other people, so that's why I share that story. This is like almost fine. Like sitting here, or not here, probably here. Sitting here would be pretty good. Or, oh, if there's a table on the other side. Oh, but this looks like a buffet area. I can't tell. The picture's not big enough, and I can't expand it. Sitting in this room would be nice. But there's no way there's no way I'm going to gather with enough human beings to qualify to sit in this room. So, being a part of a group of people I do know would be too anxiety inducing enough to make that worth it. So. Like a wedding after party or something. I hate those. I hate it. I was in close proximity. I went to a wedding a few years back, and it was like that. So it's terrible. And then I went to someone's funeral, and we had a after funeral reception at a restaurant, and it was that tightly packed because it's a big party of people, but I don't technically know everybody, or I'm not technically comfortable around everybody. So anyway, if this place can get good, like a good seating arrangement done, then I would like to enjoy this. Oh, they have one in Irvine. Oh, it's a beauty lounge. No, I did not mean Juno. Oh my god, don't look in Irvine. I don't even live in Irvine. Look in New York City. That is a place. New York, New York. Here it is. Yelp is so obsessed with looking in my area. Here we go. Flatteron. Is it safe for allergies? Well, I'm technically allergic to milk, but I am not going to let them withhold any milky, creamy products. Never. Oh, the third course is dessert. So if you go during lunchtime, you'll get basically two of those meals, or two of those little dishes, and then a dessert. So it's not going to be that filling of a meal. But I mean, for a high class place, it's fine. Whatever. We were celebrating two birthdays, me and my husband's. That's wonderful. The service is really nice, and the food is was one of my good experiences with Indian fine dining. Oh, I guess this place is technically Indian. I wouldn't have guessed it because it's so high end, and Indian food is normally very like, I guess, kind of cheap and sloppy looking. It still tastes great, but it's kind of like cheap and sloppy looking. I'd have gone for 5 stars, but took away one for the paneer starter and the main course. Both lacked the oomph for me and the rest of my group. Some of our favorites out of the many things were the Janoon Chat, the Pea Tiki, the Jaljeera. It's like the best Jaljeera I've ever had, and we liked it so much we had to order it 3 times. The Truffle Khichdi, the Lasuni Palak, the Kulfi Bobs, the Ube flavor, and the Trio. Definitely recommend as a must try and worth the money. Had high expectations, but I missed the mark. All the entrees were good, but I was really hoping for something that'd wow me. Nah. For 3 people, we got 2 drinks each, 3 appetizers, non-bread, rice, 3 entrees, and a dessert. Came out to $400 after taxes and tip. Oh, after taxes and tip, that's pretty good. So it's what, like 120 per person, basically, before taxes and tip. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna make a trip out to New York just for that, but I like how my webcam froze, but the screen share didn't. Okay, I was misremembering. BuzzFeed didn't go out to too many places, and in here anyway. Um, I believe they have one of these places in New York, but I would have to go to Japan if they don't otherwise. They have this Wagyu Katsu sandwich. It's really good, or it looks really good. I guess I've never been, but this is what I want to try. This is what I want to try. They have it's a Wagyu beef fried in a beef katsu, and they put it in like a little sandwich and they cut it up. So it's about, I think it's $100 for the full thing. So that means each one of these little pieces runs you about 25 bucks. Apparently it's delicious. It looks really good. For $100, I mean, it's not that bad. Again, all of this stuff is it's a one-time thing, right? You're not gonna eat this like every week or even every month, but you know, so you're on vacation, you get it once, right? New York City, cool. They know what I'm searching for. So if I go to New York City, it's $180. Oh boy. Don Wagyu. Oh boy, it's a review of the Wagyu sandwiches. The fancy sandwich shop sells a $180 version, but why go for that if the $28 one is bad? Blah 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 blah. I'm a food critic. Everyday place to swing by for a $180 Ozaki beef sandwich, Miyazaki version for $80, or an American Japanese crossbreed alternative for 28. Did this guy even try the more expensive one or what? He's complaining that the cheap one sucks. So he didn't. Okay, so the gist of that was he was saying that the restaurant didn't. The restaurant's cheap burger version of the sandwich sucked, so the expensive one must suck as well. But he didn't try the expensive one, he just had the cheap one twice. Okay, so it's a hit or miss. It's people's opinions. God damn. Okay. I don't know where any of this is relative to anything. I don't even know how New York is structured, to be honest. And my computer's too slow to like comfortably browse any of this. Yeah, that's a restaurant. Oh, they serve sushi here. Oh, they sell just wagyu on its own. Okay, it looks like Sakamai is gonna be. Oh boy, it's open till 11. Better go there now. It's only in Manhattan. Or in Ludlow Street, New York. Oh boy. $85 for a Japanese wagyu katsu. Here we go. Pictures. I want a picture with a review. Looks like they cut them up smaller, but it looks like there's more pieces. Looks nice and squishy. $85. I mean, whatever. It's like I'm not going to Japan anytime soon, so might as well if I'm in the area. Looks like they put the beef on top of rice in a sushi. I want Korean. I want Korean barbecue. That's what this makes me think of. What do they have in the? They have a bed of ice with like a little oyster on top. Anyway, are there any reviews mentioning the Wagyu? Search reviews. Wagyu. That spells Wagyu. It's one of the worst Wagyu experiences I've ever had. Definitely not worth the $85. The preview for this review, for the text of this review, just from the search results, didn't make it sound like that. It had, I tried their A5 Wagyu sandwich, and honestly, ... and then they cut it to here, worth the $85. That's how they phrased it. So they cut out the part of the preview on the search results, cut out it cut out the part of the sentence that criticized the sandwich, and it only left in the parts in order to give you misleading context. I can show you guys right now if my computer doesn't crash. Oh wait, no, this was for a different. Wait, they're not showing it to me. They fucking heard me talking about it and they switched the review. The Wagyu sandwiches were absolutely amazing and it was a great price. I like that now that's the review that they share, even though there are negative reviews of it as well. Yelp knows what they're doing. They're fucking misleading you to try to make you go to this restaurant. Oh, why would a website not affiliated with the restaurant try to make you try to advertise the restaurant? Why do you guys think? It's because it's money. They paid them. That stream's breaking, I know. Why do you guys think Sakamai, the restaurant, obviously paid Yelp to have good things said about them? So they're going to push that. The sauce on the sandwich overtakes the flavor of the Wagyu to a point where I don't even taste the Wagyu flavor at all. I've even tried separating the meat from the bread, but the result was the same. The other food items besides the Wagyu were decent. The Wagyu sandwiches were absolutely amazing, and it was a great price. We got the Wagyu Sando, which is pretty steep in price, but worth it for the indulgent flavor and quality. Completely contradicting that first review. Came for the Wagyu Katsu sandwich, and it was totally worth the trip. The Wagyu hand roll was and the oysters were small, but had a ton of umami flavor. Great service and cute decor. For $85, it was worth every single bite. The toasted Hokkaido milk bread and extremely soft Wagyu complemented each other well. The sauce did not overpower the taste of the Wagyu. It might not seem like a lot, but we were really full after this dish. Wow, the sauce didn't overpower it, huh? Well, that completely contradicts this first review that says that the sauce did overpower it. And the reviews are only a month apart, so it's not like they had different cooking styles or anything. So what is it? What do I believe, huh? The Wagyu Katsu Sando. It's good if you're the type of person that needs A1 steak sauce on your steak. Otherwise, the sauce can overpower the buttery goodness of the meat. Okay, so here's my solution then. I'm going to order the sandwich with no sauce. That's what my solution is. And then it's probably going to taste a little plain because of that, or I could order sauce on the side for dipping. Because I want to try it both plain and on the side. And I can always complain to the waiter when it doesn't come out like that and probably get a free one. Or if it doesn't come out like that. That's what you do. guys can still technically see me. Anyway, this suck on my place seems fine. See you later. You're leaving Yelp. Don't feel safe? Go back to Yelp. Oh, you know, I could have just stayed on Yelp to look at the other dishes. Nah, whatever. Wagyu beef hand roll. People were saying that was mediocre. $28 for a beef tartare? Oh, that includes bone marrow. Wow, ramen noodles. You get like a little handful of it. Dry aged duck breast. Ooh, the katsu sando and the duck breast would be. I would go there for just these two, 100%. Well, I don't know about spending $32 on a platter of meat after going for the sandwich. Probably just got a sushi roll or something. I had this like stuffed cod fish. Oh, so good. This place seems a little pricey. Whatever. Why am I going to New York? Oh yeah, the grilled cheese and stuff, and then maybe this katsu sando if I have any money left. And then I want to go to the Louts for their tiki masala. Tiki masala? Their curry laksa. That's what it is. Their curry laksa and their naan bread. Or not their naan bread, the non bread? Naan is just pita. I don't know. Whatever. As featured on Worth It, on BuzzFeed's Worth It. We're running with minimal staff and are unable to accommodate customization. Customization? What, do they pre-make the food or what? Like, whatever. I'm sure in like 3 years they're not going to have the same problem. Boom. I made a giant spreadsheet of every dish from BuzzFeed's Worth It. Filter by city for New York. Anyway. That's a goofy face I'm making. Oh, never mind. Bam. Bye-bye. Boom. Applying social media to law enforcement. Nope. Oh my god, fucking encoding error, dude. Just, again? Encoding overload. Use a faster encoding preset. What do you mean? Unbelievable. Okay. I want to play a game real quick, but I don't think my computer's going to be able to handle it. Nah, let's see. It's already 3:20. Oh boy. The game's working out fine. Alright, here we go, guys. So basically, wow, this is laggy. Holy shit. Guys, I'm gonna restart the stream. I'm gonna restart the stream. I can't escape this encoding overload shit. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna restart it.